My baby, what I really wanna say, I can't define what is love maybe. Whoa. Welcome to morinowatch episode number 3. My name is Joshua Lehman, and this is my bearded muse.
We are on the air.
Mr. Brett O'Rear.
How is everybody tonight?
Welcome. Wonderful news. We are still in studio with Mr. Sam Johnson.
Hey, Sam's here.
Sam.
Welcome, Sam.
The man, magnificent
The
Johnson.
Man. Sam the man. It doesn't quite rhyme, sort of like Sam the man. You know?
If I go back and listen to that later, that's going to be like, well, that was funny.
Sam
you
the
should
glam.
clip that one, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Good to have you, Sam.
We are in Two Gender Studios. Super happy to be here. Super thankful.
Yeah.
So, first things first, and I'm lost a lot of my pages on.
Get it together, Josh.
I'm trying to find it. There it is. I found it.
Mm-hmm.
I found it. All right, one thing I cannot do is watch the YouTube video at the same time, or I will spin out.
No, don't do that.
Because it is delayed.
You got a show to do. You don't have time to watch YouTube.
This is very true. So first thing first, let's talk about our wonderful sponsors.
Yeah, yes. We added a new one this week, didn't we?
Well, we added a new engagement this week, but we will have his commercial put together here shortly.
Yes.
And we are very thankful to him.
Who's doing that commercial? Mr.
Jason Amberson. Oh, Amberson, thank you, sir. We love you, brother.
Thank you, Jason.
We are doing the commercial.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh,
so, guys,
right.
if you didn't know, me and Brett actually are video producers.
We do.
And so along with our sponsorship offers, based on the tier level or whatever, we will actually make you a video commercial that you can keep. We'll play it on our show. And
you can keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it.
Yeah,
you can
nice.
keep it.
Yeah.
So it's not just a spot on the show, but it's also you get your content. You can put it on your social media websites or social media platforms and your website. You can also clip it, and if you desire, you can put it on TV. Even though I don't know many people who watch old cable news, TV, or anything anymore.
A couple people, I'm sure.
Anyways, okay, so our other sponsors. First and foremost, we talked about him last time. We're going to talk about him again, even though it is early and it's not quite Christmas yet.
Well, it's never too early to sign up for lights.
That's true. Let's go, Brandon Christmas lights. Let's go, Brandon Christmas lights.
And he's hoping to add a couple employees by Christmas time, probably right after Thanksgiving. We're hoping Joe Biden will be unemployed.
He'll probably be looking for a job.
Work for Sam.
And
Sam the man.
Let's go, Brandon. Sam the man. Wonderful. Also, Cohen's Art and Framing. Mm-hmm. So this is the wonderful woman who did our shirts. She does signage. She does custom frames. She can be what's the word when you're commissioned to do paintings. She's amazing artist. Yeah. And also, I mean, she does pretty much everything there is to do with print and design. She's a graphic designer. She's been doing it for over 25 years, and she is a spitfire. She's a lot of fun to be around.
She is.
Yeah. She's in downtown Platte City, across from the courthouse.
Yes.
Also, everything she does too, she can do over the internet because we're in the interwebs these days. So make sure you check her out at cohensartandframing.com, or you can just come to morinowatch.com, morinowatch.com, and then go to this Patriot sponsors page, and you will be able to find her links there, as well as Dina Me Health and Fitness, right? And so this is a personal trainer. She has workouts on demand that you can buy and use yourself. If you need training, she offers on-site training.
I think she gave some pointers to Sam.
Oh, did he do some more push-ups?
He did some workouts before the show today.
How many push-ups did Sam do?
I think I was counting 14. He claims there was about 50, but that is
100% increase from last week. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Of course, most men should be able to do 7.
At least
he did
7.
14.
Yeah, so he's double man.
He's a double man.
Yeah, magnificent Sam Johnson.
Yeah. Anyway, she does great work.
She does. She's been doing it for 10 years. She also has an app which allows her to actually do personal training from afar. So even if you are across the world, literally, I mean, even if you're just across town and you don't want to get out your house and it's cold, she can give you all of your custom workouts. She can also do meetings with you, direct open lines of chat and communication, and all that good stuff.
I did 50.
He did 50.
I did 50.
Oh, Sam's 50. Talking, guys. Yeah. What was that, Sam?
How many did you do?
How many did you do?
I did 50.
You did 50.
50.
50.
Was somebody
I
counting?
don't believe you. Just because that was not enough time in between.
All right, I have to confess. This is the night of confessions. Sam did do 50, and I tried to throw him off, and I counted 16 twice, but I caught up.
Which is 32.
And then he surpassed that. He blew right past that to get to 50. Look at this guy. Oh, the audience, if you could see him now. Oh,
man, that shirt, those wolves.
Unimpressed.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, look at them.
Have you ever seen Kiff?
No.
Oh my gosh.
What's Kiff?
The guy who does all the remixes to like cat noises and stuff. Oh my god, he's amazing. If you guys ever want to see him, shout out to Kiff, the Kiffness. He is phenomenal.
He a sponsor?
He's not.
Where's
but
that
he should
bell?
be.
Ting.
He should be.
Where's that bell?
Okay. Also, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, and let's go ahead and get into the show.
Let's do it.
So, we got our first. I got my first. I mean, they didn't CC you on it, but I got my first threat email. Friday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before we get into that email, I want to do an expose on myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So
I've done some research of my own.
It was cold. It was a cold night on January 5th in Parkville. Parkville.
I think it was.
Yeah, Parkville.
You were at the Legion.
I was at the American Legion.
At
a mayoral debate. And let me tell you something real quick before we go any further.
Sure.
Okay. If y'all don't vote for Jason Sears in Parkville, you're going to get a communist as your mayor. This is the only guy, love Jason Sears, by the way, but this is the only guy who knew the Constitution. Literally, a girl said, young lady said, through her mask, I haven't read the Constitution, but if I get elected, I'll look into it.
Oh.
That's not a joke.
She said that?
She said that. Yeah, she said that. So anyways, we were there.
That's not good.
And I was at the American Legion and hanging out with peoples. It was a good night. I had a couple drinks. And then I got into my truck. It was about 12 degrees. So I had my truck on and running. I was catching up to text messages. I had about, I don't know, a lot of text messages to catch up to.
You're so popular.
Oh, well, I just ignore my wife a lot, so that's really what it boils down to. But anyways, catching up to my text messages, and I'm in a parking spot, and I am not moving or driving, but I am in a parking spot, and I do have my truck running. Oh. Anyways, somebody called the police and said that there was a man and a woman out there fighting. Yeah, I guess they have a closed caption camera out there on the downtown.
Yeah.
And so,
did you see the footage?
I did not see the footage, nor do I care. Which, anyways, so they came out and they did their pin maneuver, right? Like one here, and they got out.
So you can't escape.
Yeah, so I couldn't escape.
You were trapped.
Right, I was trapped in my parking spot
in a warm car.
Yes. And anyways, they got out and they came to the window, and I'm like, hey guys, I mean, I'm a fan of police. I'm absolutely a fan. Appreciate everything that you guys do, and even these individuals, actually made friends with them. But anyways, I did. But afterwards, or during that time, of course, they smelled alcohol on my breath, and come to find out, the guy who was doing the talking to me was the DUI guy, and he was training the new guy. So
You're part of the manual.
It was a perfect opportunity. I mean, I definitely gave this guy, the best experience that he could have had dealing with a potential DUI. Okay. Right?
Yep.
Anyways, point being is, pulled me out of the truck, asked me questions. I was completely compliant because, again, I like cops and I didn't think I had done anything wrong. And lo and behold, I blew a breathalyzer test and I blew over.
Oh,
I did.
Gosh.
So they took me over to the courthouse, just me and them, us two. They were really cool. They were like, we could tow your truck. I mean, the whole time they were telling me how like they were being cool. You know what I mean? They were like, hey, we're being cool. You've been great. We're going to be great. We're not going to tow your truck. I was like, oh, great. Thank you. It's in a parking spot.
That's nice.
It's in a parking spot, so I didn't know if it needed to be towed. But anyways, they didn't tow it.
Yeah.
And then when I was there, we went through the whole process, and they told me all kinds of funny stories. And, we were actually just having a dialogue. And didn't charge me to leave. I guess you get charged. You could say bailed out of jail, right? But I was never in jail. Never went behind the bars or anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, they were like, we're not going to charge you the $750 to leave because you've been so cooperative and so on. And so we were cool, processed me, whatever, and then let me go sit in the lobby wait for my wife to come pick me up. That was a fun phone call.
Yeah, I bet that
was a fun phone call. So anyways,
that's not ideal.
Long story short is I got my first offense of a DUI. Some people have joked and said it was an SUI, sitting under the influence instead of actually driving. But anyways, got that. It was my first offense. I'm not proud of it. So don't think that I am.
Yeah, we're not making light of it.
We're not making light of it.
Drunk driving is a serious offense.
Yeah. And so got a DUI and went to court and did all that good stuff. But then because it was my first offense, because I had a good recommendation from the experience itself, they gave me what's called a suspended sentence, which means it's not on my record, which means I can legally tell anybody that asks me, have you had a DUI? And I could say, no, I've never been convicted of a DUI. Okay. So anyway, so now that everybody knows the story, let me read the email I got. Okay. So this is from Cardinals fan 515. Cardinals fan. I don't know if that's in St. Louis or whatever.
It's got to be.
And this is the thing. It came from a Proton Mail account. So that leads me to believe that this person wanted to be secure. Yeah, and this one's my Google account, so obviously I'm not really worried about being too secure. Anyways, it says, "Hi Joshua, do your followers know that you were pulled over in your F-150 in downtown Parkville on January 5th on suspicion of drunk driving?" Lie number one. Okay, I wasn't pulled over. I was already pulled over, parked. After which you failed the standardized field sobriety test and blew a .133 BAC. It's all true. And were promptly arrested for drunk driving and taken into custody. Do your kids know? Have they seen the dash cam video like we have?
So they have seen it.
I guess.
Somebody has seen it.
Somebody has. Okay. Which is weird because like if they saw the dash cam footage, because I was actually considering getting the dash cam footage and putting it out here, but it costs a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, you don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. Anyways, if they had seen the dash cam footage, would they have said that I got pulled over? Because wouldn't they see that I was in a parking spot? Anyways. Have they seen the dash cam video like we have? Or is that just something you want to keep to yourself? Were you high also? Was your little or has your little cannabis consulting outfit not actually gotten off the ground? Guess respecting the rule of law doesn't apply to you and your rhino hunting friends. Sorry, rhino hunting friends.
Oh, it was in quotes.
Yeah, they were in quotes.
You hear that, Sam?
You're a rhino hunting friend.
You're a rhino hunter, and that's in quotes.
As you're fond of saying, voting records matter, but so do rap sheets. Patriots who respect the rule of law don't endanger their fellow citizens and law enforcement. I agree. Maybe you should spend more time following the law instead of posturing and spewing your lies on social media. I hope you address this incident on your next podcast so your four listeners can hear your explanation for breaking the law and getting off scot-free.
So Josh, speak to the four listeners, please.
So all of the four listeners out there, I'm sorry. I got a DUI sitting in a parking lot. I'm not proud of it. But guess what? That DUI is probably one of the best things that happened to me in a long time. No joke. Because I haven't drank since January 5th, and it gave me the time and the bandwidth to start this show. So
it was an eye-opener for you, wasn't it?
And my reply was, hey, friend, glad to see you watched our show. Also glad to see it hit a nerve. I don't hide from my mistakes, and I guess this is your way of delivering a threat. That must mean I'm over the mark. I hope you tune in Friday at 7 p.m. for our live For God and Country, Joshua Lehman. So, just wanted to put that out there on Front Street, right? Yeah. Because I'm not hiding from anything. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life. This was literally the most embarrassing one that I have, but I am realistic about it. The thing is this reminds me of that whole thing of when you can't destroy the message, you destroy the messenger. Because out of all this stuff that they put on here, they really were very condescending about it. But then at the same time, this one line, maybe you should spend more time following the law instead of posturing and spewing your lies on social media. You know what would have been really, really productive, Cardinals fan 515? Is if you'd have told me what those lies were and gave me a correction. Because in addition, yeah, lambast me. Yeah, question my faith, question my sincerity, question my relationship with my children. Sure, you should have issued a correction. I'm more than happy to correct anything that I say that is false. So maybe you'll follow back up now that hopefully you're watching this tonight. You seem like a fan. Maybe you'll issue some corrections and then I can read that on here as well. But nothing that you guys are going to do is going to stop us from this mission. The truth is going to go forward. So, anyways, now that expose is out of the way, I want to go get into the next thing of a ballot initiative.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. So, last show we talked about this whole, so the ranked choice voting, right? Which we'll go back into that as closer we get to actual voting day. And then this 2/3 initiative petition. Well, I had the pleasure, and I mean this, I had the pleasure of speaking with an individual who really helped me understand the initiative petition process. And so I wanted to make sure that we took the time to explain it to everybody so that they would be able to understand how they should vote based on their knowledge. So in other words, I'm not saying I'm telling you how to vote. I'm telling you that I want to explain this process and the issues to you so that if you decide, well, when it comes out, you can decide how to vote. Because the thing is the initiative petition process is just a process that allows you to get signatures to get something on the ballot, right?
That makes sense.
So, in other words, Missourians have the right to, everybody has the right to say, hey, I would like to have a law created or something created. Mm-hmm. Statutory law, which means state, or constitutional, it's that overriding document. And so, but the problem is, right, is that our current law, our current process is called a simple majority process, right? Which means it's just 50% plus one. So, and this is funny, like everybody that talks to me about this always uses legalized cannabis. That's why we have legal marijuana. And I'm like, I don't think that's a bad thing. Sorry, I'm pro cannabis, guys. I'm not saying go out there and smoke your weed or don't smoke your weed.
There's other benefits of
There's
of
definitely other benefits.
Yes, getting
agreed.
stoned.
So my point is don't use that as your reasoning for initiative petition because you're going to throw a lot of people off. Anyways, so initiative petition allows you the ability with a simple minority or a majority. So like with Medicaid expansion, we voted that in. We the people voted that in. Mm-hmm. And the problem is like, so when you have a simple majority, it's only who voted. So in other words, if only two people went out and, well, three people went out and voted, you only need two of them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, even though there's 2 million, is that like 2 million voters in Missouri, something like that?
What was that, Sam?
Is that right, Sam?
Didn't you say something? Didn't you 3 million last week? Coming back
6 million.
Coming in hot, Sam.
There's 6 million in the state, and then
like 2 million registered or something like that.
The registered.
Gotcha. So we know there's 6 million in the state, so we can safely say there's 2 million registered voters in the state of Missouri. Yeah. So what it's saying is it doesn't matter how many registered voters there are. It's only a simple majority saying, so like in one instance, there was 28% of voters who turned out. All they needed was 14% plus one person to win that over. Well, a lot of people probably wouldn't want certain things. In other words, it's a very flimsy law. Let me give you an example. In Orange County, over there in Cali, right? They have the same initiative petition process as we do. And the problem is if you got $2 million, which a lot of people do, we don't have $2 million. Microphone just hit me in the face.
Yeah. If you had $2 million, that microphone wouldn't be hitting you.
I know. I wouldn't even need a microphone for something.
You would have like something blocking you.
Hey, whoa.
It would be, I'm sorry. It was
junk here, Sam.
If I have $2 million, I can get, something on a ballot.
It all anyway.
Well, I would spend it all. You heard me singing earlier.
I did. Yeah.
If I had $1 million, I'd spend it all. If I had $2 million, I'd spend it just as fast.
Yeah.
I would buy 2 of everything. Anyways, if you got $2 million, you can spend the money necessary to get the signatures and get it on the ballot. Mm-hmm. And if you do a lot of good coercive talking and slickability, you have the opportunity to get something passed that people just don't quite understand. Mm-hmm. In the sense that maybe somebody's like, I don't understand this, I'm not voting. Well, guess what? Now you're just out of the calculation, right? So, anyways, in Orange County, right, which is the biggest Republican Central Committee in the nation, huge. They spent $18 million to defeat an initiative petition that they have to fight every year almost, and it's an initiative petition to put limits on what landlords can charge for rent.
So they stopped that.
Yes.
That was the initiative.
Yes, but it cost them $18 million to stop it. And all it takes is that simple majority of 50% plus one to say, I want, which is actually a communist law, saying like, oh, the state decides how much you can charge for rent. And this is California. So as inflation hikes up and they're paying for everything else, they'll tell you, nope, you can't go past $900 a month for this flat or whatever. And then you basically lose everything.
Yeah.
So the point is it's dangerous work because it offers people who have money and ill intentions the ability to coerce and control the legal process.
Yeah. This is convoluted. Yeah. I may have to ask you to repeat most of this.
Yeah. So the idea is if I have enough money, I can put something on the ballot, right? Well, the only real way of kind of like of making it fair, so that we should still be able to do a grassroots movement, get something put on the ballot and get it done.
Sure.
But the thing is what is the standard of the vote, right? And so you have two different ways. Right now it's, again, simple majority of whoever's there. Not a majority of voters, not a majority of registered voters. A simple majority of whoever comes out and votes, right? Okay. So if 10 people come out and vote, I only need 6, right? So that's the idea. There are two different types of laws. There are statutory laws and there are constitutional laws. And the constitutional laws is that base document, that overriding document that the laws can't conflict with, right? Now, legislators, House and senators, they can repeal and change a statutory law. They cannot change a constitutional amendment.
That has to go to the voters.
That has to go to the people.
By 2/3.
Not yet. It's still a simple majority.
Simple majority.
With the initiative petition, yes, it's still a simple majority.
Okay.
So I think it's the U.S. Constitution. It has to be brought up by 65% and almost passed by 75%, maybe. It might be 2/3 there too.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point being is you don't want things added to or taken away from the Constitution that easily.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is, so like Medicaid expansion was passed. Now, if you go out, I guarantee if you go out and ask the majority of people around here, they'd be like, hell no, we didn't want that. But because maybe not a lot of people knew about it, it got voted in. They didn't understand the language, whatever. That's how it happens. If it would have had a higher standard, maybe that wouldn't have passed. Now, something like term limits passed with over 65%, right? So it's like, if the things that are really concern of the people are passed or are brought up, it's going to get passed. Point being is, you can do a state law, which can be changed by legislators, right? House and Senate and governor. Or you can do a constitutional, which can't be changed, only can be changed by the people. Or can't be changed by the legislators, only by the people. So there are multiple different initiative petition mixes, I guess you could say. In other words, maybe initiative petition law comes out and it says statutory has to be changed by 2/3 and constitutional 2/3, right? So now these both get the 2/3 overriding. Maybe there's one that comes out and says statutory is only 50% plus 1, simple majority, and constitutional is 2/3, right? So there's different mixtures that can happen, and then we have to understand what the impact of those mixtures are, or what the simple majority is. So in my mind, just off of my understanding of this, I think I would be for a simple majority for a statutory thing, right? Which can be changed by our legislature, right? It can also be changed by the people for a simple majority again. So that's a fair sway. Now, the constitutional thing, that's the thing that I think would probably deserve the 2/3 majority,
right?
Because that is that underpinning document that it's, you wouldn't have people going and changing the First Amendment with just a simple majority.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So
that should be a little bit more concrete. Obviously, can be adjusted with the right numbers, but it shouldn't be just done every 2 years, every 4 years, whenever there's an election,
or whenever there's enough money.
Yeah, or
right.
Money.
So like the Right Path PAC, these guys that push and sponsor the baby killers in Washington University, they call themselves Republicans. They dropped $2.1 million into that PAC in one day.
Yeah.
So if they have the money to do that, well, one of the guys is a airline scion. He gave $60 million to St. Louis or to Washington University. That's a drop in the hat for these guys.
What was the over expand of what?
No, it just
like a drop.
Like he gave him to
60 million.
And of course they put a plaque up in his name or something, right? Whatever.
It's worth it.
But I'm saying, like, there are these people out here, the establishment individuals, whether they're right or left, who've been controlling everything in Missouri, right? And if someone gets a wild hair and says, this is what we want to do, right? And they spend the time and the money to get the signatures and then message on it and confuse people, we want to at least have a high standard that if they're going to change our underlying document of the Constitution, okay? So that initiative petition is that, the action. The initiative petition in itself is the action of going out with petitions, right? Getting signatures to get a specific law on the books for the voting term, right? We want to make sure that we have the right things in place that make sure that it's not changing our Constitution on a whim with a simple majority, but then maybe at the same time allows for statutory changes to happen. Who knows? I don't have.
How many signatures? How many people need to sign that petition?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like 100,000 or something. I don't know. I don't know the specific numbers. I feel like I heard 100,000, maybe 200,000 or something like that.
Right.
But they need there is a threshold amount, and if you got the money, you can get them signed.
You can get 100,000
no problem.
You can hire people to
all.
take the day off to go get some signatures.
Well, with the whole cannabis thing, right? Medical marijuana. I hate that word, marijuana. Anyways, there were three of those initiatives on the ballot that year, which was wild because 2 of those initiatives would have given a lot of power to one person, right? As a czar. He was going to control everything. Well, thankfully, people were smart enough and didn't vote for those, and it was actually incredibly outnumbered what actually happened and so on. But anyways.
Well, anybody who gets the title of czar is probably not a good person.
That's scary, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
a bad
the czar,
title.
I'm the health czar. Anyways.
Commies did that over in Soviet Union, didn't they?
Yeah. I think is that where it originated from, that name? It sounds like that way.
With
I
a
don't know
C
for sure.
and a Z.
Caesar.
It's
Caesar.
Cyrillic.
Caesar? Maybe it's from Caesar?
Ooh, maybe.
Maybe it's from there.
Ides of March.
Anyways, so the idea is with the initiative petition, let's just be educated about it. The initiative petition is a good thing if the grassroots swell up and do something that actually matters. It is a tool that deep state players or establishment players who have deep pockets can use to get whatever it is that they want done. And the only real recourse we have is, besides staying informed and staying engaged all the time, is raising that standard a bit. So we'll keep you all informed on the actual bill that hits, or the actual offered bill that hits to be voted on. We'll go through the details, and everybody just make the best decision.
And this just came across your table
last night.
Okay.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I was talking to somebody. I talked to one person, I talked to another person. I went through 3 different people yesterday, wildest day, and then met this guy over the phone, and he broke all this down for me. I mean, phenomenal. He's a really good dude.
Yeah.
I was very thankful. It was a good resource. And he had interaction with this area of law, and he was just there. He just offered the examples and let me form my own opinions, which was nice. So anyways, initiative petition process, we may want a 2/3. I personally want a 2/3 for the Constitution. I don't know if it's necessary for anything for statutory state level stuff, but definitely want that.
Yeah. We'll follow that up. We'll put some stuff on our site probably once we're able to
once we get into these, we're definitely gonna figure out a way to break down all of the laws and things that are going to come down. And so if you want to keep up with that, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell.
Hey!
Sam, such a pusher.
Okay. So anyways, now we're going to move into Brett's piece on the new DHSS, Department of Health and Senior Services acting director.
Yeah, so this came out just this week on Tuesday. Governor Dolly has announced an acting director because of the whole Cowroff thing. So Dolly has now put a new name out. And I don't know much about her. I did a little bit of research on her. I just don't know much about her. But Paula Nicholson is her name. Any of the listeners know anything about her, do a background? Anyway, she's been in government for the last 22 years. She played a big part in the whole pandemic. Missouri heavily involved to get nurses, other healthcare workers in the hospitals around during the pandemic when the cases were up and the hospitals were allegedly overrun or whatever. The thing that stood out to me, the thing that stands out to me again is that she is an acting director, and Parsons is not going to bring her up for a vote or doesn't have to.
The way he talked about it, right? So he got defeated by the people in Moon and the other conservative caucus members.
So this is the replacement for Karoff.
Right, the replacement for Karoff, and he made this snide comment that I read where he goes, I don't know. Maybe she'll be acting for the next month, the next quarter, or the next 3 years I'm in office.
Months down the road or next year is when she could potentially be confirmed.
Right.
See, that is that's scary to me.
Yeah.
Because you have to have an actor, you have to have somebody in place while someone gets confirmed. I get that. I completely get that. He has is that his prerogative?
Yeah,
My prerogative?
Well, I mean, it is.
Word,
and this is what's so weird, too, right? Because remember with Trump, they had these battles all the time with getting people appointed and made such a big deal out of it. And he even said, he goes, when you have acting people, they have a lot more flexibility. They can do things.
They do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be the consequences for fighting so hard for Karoff, which I believe was the right thing to do.
100%.
And, we could do some digging on Nicholson. I hope she's great.
Me too.
To have these constant battles with your governor isn't always healthy. But we have to have the right people in place for that. So, anyway, so she was part of overseeing bringing in an outside company or out-of-state company to bring in some of these nurses, these healthcare workers for these hospitals.
So when the hospitals were quote unquote overrun,
when they were overrun,
she contracted outside.
Force. Yeah, so she went outside the state, which. Okay, I have a problem with that, but maybe there was nobody in state who could do it, or maybe they couldn't do it. Whatever the case may be. The problem that I had, so they did a no bid contract, which is always a red flag to me, to a Texas-based company, the SLSCO, which is the Sullivan's Land Service company. They're owned by the Sullivan brothers. I don't know much about them. But anyway, I guess they had a lot of issues with no-shows.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they had the no-bid contract. Hospitals were needing, and we could put this on the side of all the hospitals, but they were wanting these nurses to come in. These hospitals were expecting these nurses to come in to help out, and there were no-shows. Just no-shows. No show. What are you going to do? You sign up for it, we expect you to be here.
Well, it's also like it was our money. We paid for it as taxpayers.
Yeah.
And they needed them.
Yep.
And they were out of state. It was a no bid. And then they didn't show up.
Right.
Sometimes. Not all the time.
Not all the time.
They
all the time.
never showed up, but there were no-show issues that obviously were enough that came up in research.
Yes, exactly. So my question is, and Nicholson, to her credit, she found it to be unacceptable, not only to the state, but to the taxpayers, because that money comes from us.
Right.
So to her credit, she had issues with that. Of course, where's the no bid? Why the no bid contracts?
Yeah.
When you do no bids, what's the connection?
Right. Well, and especially like when you do no bids, it's usually like the only upstanding reason to do no bid is because this company or this person comes with such good reviews,
right?
Or
good standards, good quality, good process,
and to have and who knows? Maybe it was because there was so much overran. It's just weird. It's like if they were overran, was Texas not overran? I don't know. This whole COVID thing just got me sideways, anyways, because I don't believe anything anybody says because they've lied to us so much.
Yeah.
Sam, get tested.
Sam needs a nurse.
Sam needs a test.
Let's get a no bid contract for Sam.
You need a PCR test to tell us if you have COVID or not.
Oh, phone's ringing.
Answer the phone, Sam.
Yeah. So anyway, she has been nominated she is the acting director. I say we keep an eye on it and just see where it goes.
Well, we just need to keep an eye on it.
Dolly's not to be trusted.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it's really not so much her or anyone in that directing role, but what are the policies that are rolling out?
Correct. What about those four tests?
Fluidine tests, right? Yeah. Are we still utilizing those?
Right.
Are those still getting used?
Right. Is the plan already in place and she's just going to take over what's already in play?
I have a hard time believing that SHIELD came in here and incorporated for nothing.
Right.
I have a real hard time thinking that they went away silently.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, that's the big thing. We do need to keep a staunch eye out for anything to do with these policies rolling out.
Right.
Anything at all, because as soon as there's that other article that we talked about last week that we didn't have the time to go over. It was talking about how states all over the nation are now rolling out that health passport, right? And the thing is, these things sound so benign, right? Because it's a health passport. Well, first and foremost, passport is your pass to go through a portal, right? Or go through into another territory. And
if you don't have it, what happens? You get turned away? You got to start showing papers? What is that?
You used to have to show papers.
That's unacceptable.
Right. And well, so it's funny because the gentleman that I talked to about the initiative petition, he said a really wonderful thing. He goes, the whole reason I got involved out of the private sector is because, his dad fought in World War II. And his dad said, son, I fought, and he signed up when he was 17. His dad, his grandfather had to give his dad permission, which he did. And he went over and he fought in World War II so that we wouldn't have to be asked for papers.
Right.
See, people just don't understand. We're so disconnected a lot of the times from that war and from all the things that they fought for and what Germany was doing, what the Nazis were doing specifically, how they were treating their people. Not only that, the communists. It's strange how you're always taught about Nazis in high school and in middle school and so on. I was never taught about commies. Never taught about communists. Even though it's speculated that they killed anywhere between 80 to 100 million people.
Yeah.
I think it's like 6 million people that
6 million Jews is
right,
on record
the Nazis,
of the Nazis were blamed for.
Which is horrible.
Yeah.
But when you say 80 to 100 million, and it was from democide. And what democide is basically a practice by the government. It could be starvation, it could be work camps, it could be putting them into isolation, like in COVID, until they kill themselves, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
But people like Pol Pot, Lenin, Stalin,
Mao
of all people.
Right.
But they don't get taught about that. It's because that has been infused into our culture and into our educational system, higher learning. If you look up, everybody out there, if you want a rabbit trail to understand the depths of everything, look up the Frankfurt School of Thought. They are the ones who founded and brought in critical theory, which is the foundation for critical race theory, critical gender theory, all of the different things.
Emotional, what is that?
Social emotional learning. That's their mechanism to judge it. But they're the ones that brought it in. They came over in the 30s, and they took over. They infiltrated all the institutions like Berkeley and all the different Ivy League schools and the higher prestigious schools, and they started teaching this critical theory. And what's crazy is they were the ones behind the hippie revolution. Yeah, and they were using them.
Yeah, that was taken over.
That was about your era, wasn't it?
Oh, shots fired.
No, man, I was over in the rice paddies fighting.
But
I was drafted. I was looking forward to be a hippie.
That was when all of that stuff started. They infiltrated and they put it into our educational system, and that is the reason why we have such a corrupt school system right now. I don't want to riff on this until you're done. So
it's fine. It's I just wanted to bring it out that this is the week. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it as well. I just want to keep it on everybody's radar, and we'll follow it up. We'll follow up and make sure that things are right. But my concern is, all right, now they have somebody acting. He doesn't plan on getting her confirmed for another 6 months or a year.
Right.
What's going to be done? What damage can be done in that amount of time? Can anything be stopped? Can the legislature force a vote? That's something I would like to look into as well.
Yeah,
if anybody knows
or
that,
create legislation that blocks any kind of tyrannical overreach.
That's correct.
That's correct. Unfortunately, I feel like we're in a stalemate with these RINOs. Just remember, guys, there's RINOs: Lincoln Huff, Bill White, Sear Poit, Caleb Rowden, Dave Schatz. Remember these names because these guys Mr. Bean. These guys are our enemies. So we want to make sure we keep our sights on them, and make sure that they stay accountable. For the whole thing. Yeah. So before we move out of this and we move into our main topic for the night, which is E.R.I.C, not Greitens and not Schmidt.
No.
But E.R.I.C.
It's an acronym for something, if I'm not mistaken.
Before we get into that, I just want to talk about the schools, the school system It's going to be quick. And before we get into that, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. He's waving this paper, and if I don't do it, he will start panicking. So I made sure I did.
Okay. Man, I told you from the first show, this guy runs a tight ship.
He does run a tight ship.
50
Anyways,
push-ups, man. 50 push-ups.
So I was talking to this amazing woman. I've met a bunch of amazing women lately from the mama bears, super moms is what you would call them.
Yep.
Especially this. Recently, the most interaction I've had was with the St. Charles County Parents Association. These ladies are
fire, as the kids say.
Yeah, they're getting it done.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was teaching me about how they don't have critical race theory. They don't have it. You can say, "Oh, are you using critical race theory?" And they're like, "No."
Oh.
And then they're like, "Are you using Common Core?" No, because what they've done is they've taken out so. You have a paper and it says Common Core and it has all the language in it, right? Well, they struck the paper title, Common Core goes away, and then they took the language and then infused it into the Missouri education standards, right? And then they do the same thing with critical race theory. Oh, no, we get rid of that title. We take the language, which language is everything, guys. Please understand that. Language is everything. And they take it and they put it into the Missouri standards, education standards, right? So they say, no, we just follow our standards. Our teachers just follow the standards. We don't do critical race theory. We just follow our standards, whatever. And so what it has done is it is hidden the critical race theory. It's hidden the Common Core and all the other destructive practices. And it offers the ability for the teachers who have been heavily indoctrinated in this garbage to go out and find their own curriculum, right? And so what they've actually created is a system that is for the bad teachers. It's not a system that is for our children. It is not a system that is for America. It is not a system that promotes a true future for these kids. It's a system that promotes diversity. Is that a word? Did I just come up with a new word? Is that a new word? The word of the week, diversity?
Diversity?
Ding, ding. We got a word of the week.
Right.
Diversity. But it promotes divisiveness.
Divisiveness. There you go.
There it is.
I knew
you
would get it.
Again,
I knew you were going to get it.
That's going to say a lot more now.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point is what my concern is that we spend a lot of time trying to take back these school boards, which I absolutely think is necessary. So CRT was a big deal, for sure. It is a big deal. So is the Common Core. And in fact, that has even more far-reaching implications than the masks do, even though the masks are proven to be absolutely abhorrent what they've done to our children. Yeah. But the mask on the kids are what has gotten the parents fired up enough to get involved. And now we need to understand that, okay, we've come to the trenches. Now we need to go even further. And so
the masks have opened their eyes to the other issues that the kids are being taught. Actually, and they've sending the kids home to do the online learning, it was probably the blessing in disguise.
Yep, because
even
the
though
parents
the
were
damage
like,
it caused.
What?
Yeah.
What did your teacher just say?
Yeah.
You do what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so the system is created to allow indoctrinated bad teachers, sorry, you're out there and you're a bad teacher if you're teaching these kids that they are lesser or that somebody is better or that they are guilty for the color of their skin or they are oppressed because of the color of their skin. Right. You are a bad teacher.
It's terrible.
But it creates that environment that allows them to continue to teach that curriculum, to continue to teach that.
Now, let me ask you something, because you talked about this the other day. How are they able to take that and build their own curriculum? Aren't there standards that they have to follow? Right. There's a curriculum that is handed down, from the Fed, from the state, whatever. But the teachers are allowed to come up with their own.
So basically, you could think of it as like the standards, the Missouri education standards they've created are like guidelines, right? And those guidelines make this framework that all they have to do is fill in the blank, right? In other words, you want to teach purple. Well, whatever shade of purple you want to teach is fine, right? So they come up with their own little ways of doing that specific, like math.
Yeah.
Teach math. If you want to teach Common Core, that's cool. You know, I mean, it's like, so basically the framework or the standards allow the teachers and promote the teachers doing destructive teaching, right? But what it doesn't do is it doesn't give the good teachers, the people who got in it to raise good kids and give them a future and show them everything they need to be successful, it doesn't give them, so it suppresses them. It's kind of like social media right now, right? You get on Twitter or Facebook, you get shadow banned if you have a conservative view, if you think America is exceptional or anything else, that you're shadow banned and put into a corner. But then if you have these communist views, the opposite, then you actually don't only get boosted, but you also get these bots coming in and liking it, so everybody else feels like you're the minority, right? So they create this framework. It doesn't allow them to do, the good teachers to do what they want to do, and then it also strengthens the radical teachers.
But if the bad teachers could come up with their own curriculum, couldn't the good teachers do the same?
They could, but it doesn't. It's just not the environment. It's like the same concept, right? And they have to do these social emotional learning techniques or trials or whatever they're called, and that's how they judge how effective the curriculum is being. And there are probably still a lot of great teachers fighting that war because they realize if I leave, well, first of all, where am I going to go? And then what are these poor kids going to do, right? But they're outnumbered right now because of the way the framework is and what the framework incentivizes.
So the ladies in the St. County or St. Charles County
Parents Association,
this is the information they were able to give you.
Yes,
that's what they're seeing in their county.
Yes, and the structure itself. So not only is it something in the county, it is also part of UNICEF and the UN. This is worldwide. This is a worldwide tactic. Remember, they are trying to fight for a great reset to bring in the new world order. If you look at the back of your dollar bill, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum under that pyramid in the eye, and on the top it says Annuetit Ceptus. And what Annuetit Ceptus means is he, the I, Satan, is pleased with our project. What is the project? The new secularization of the world, the new world order. Whoa! So it is a worldwide phenomenon. It's a worldwide focus. And the thing is this. We can get in our school boards, and we should take it back, okay? We can change the curriculum. We're still going to have to deal with these radicalized teachers. And then, but the biggest thing, I think the most important thing is that we build an alternative. We have the rights through the Constitution to build our own education system, to raise our children with people that love them, that care about their future, and that will raise them and teach them to be the absolute best, exceptional individuals they can be because they're free. Right? And if we do that, two things happen. We offer an opportunity and an alternative for the good teachers to leave the broken system and come out, right? And then we offer the kids an alternative. And then when parents start seeing that there is an alternative to where their kids can go, people are going to jump ship because this ship is decrepit and sinking. So if we can open up a door, if we can start getting together, I bring this up all the time. My kids are homeschooled, and my wife is amazing. She runs her fitness business. She takes care of my house and our house, but she calls it my house because she makes me feel bad. And then she homeschools 3 kids, and these kids are, they do phenomenally well. And it's because it doesn't take much to educate a child. They're already inquisitive and excited and everything else. And I won't let them go to these schools because I don't want them to be indoctrinated. And I don't want them to lack the good education they could have. But I want them to go to a school. I want them to have school friends. I want them to have good teachers. I want them to have more than just, because I teach them sometimes, like today, my wife went on a ladies trip that she deserves. I taught my kids today. It was stressful. It was stressful. But that, it's something that we should do anyways, right? I should do anyways. But I would like for them to have multiple different people teaching them so they can learn different ways and they can get keyed into different processes and focuses. Well,
it's the idea of what the education system was supposed to be like, or was once in this country. And it's just been bastardized throughout the last 40, 50 years.
Maybe even longer.
Yeah. Who knows? So again, we talked about this. Yes, building our own schools. That's something that's monumental. But isn't there a way that we can do it at the state level, that we don't have to get federal funding for our schools?
I think we have plenty of money.
We can create that curriculum in the state.
Well, let's go back to the Cower-Off, the test to stay. If you're willing to pay $8 a test per kid up to 3 times a week, that's $21.6 million you're spending for testing. We got enough money, people.
There's plenty
what
of
we
money.
Need in the legislation, and I'm going to ask some legislators, Rick Bratton, I'm going to ask him this question when I see him next week. He's going to be on the show. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, he is coming on the show next week. Right.
So I think we need, well, it's been talked about before. The education, the money, the tax money needs to follow the child wherever they go. So whatever money you're paying and for your kid to go and get a public education, you should be able to decide where it goes.
Absolutely.
Whether it is you signing a form stating, I want my child's allotment for this amount of time to go to this school, then that's fine. Or if you get money dumped into a specific account for that, whatever. I don't care the mechanism. We could figure it out. You know, we've
You talking about school choice there?
School choice, but even more directive. Like school choice where the money follows you, whether you want to, if you want to homeschool, then you deserve that money to go to your home and help with your curriculum. I mean, we spend a lot of money on curriculum. And not only that, I would have built a little schoolhouse.
I was told that it's about $30,000 that the school loses if you pull your child out.
Excellent.
So, like, that's where you hit them.
Yeah, they don't. Well, I mean, that's also the resources we would need,
right,
to build our own schools. That one guy, Dave, I don't want to say his full name.
Yeah.
Just because out of respect for him, but his kid goes to a school that is a gym, that is a wrestling gym, and they're thriving. So to act like, oh, I've got to have this or that, like, no, get outside of the box, think, learn, like, let these kids grow and become who they're supposed to be. And there are amazing people out there who have visions to do this. I got this one guy that he wrote me an email. I wrote him when I found out about his Christian school that he's creating. It's absolutely amazing. I wrote him. He wrote me back. I still haven't had the chance to like give him my attention and read it and respond. But I want this guy to come on our show. I want to give him as much of a platform as possible and encourage a lot of other people to do the same thing. I think we need a decentralized school system so that we have the ability to educate each other. You know, reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? Of course, we all need to do that, but specialty skills,
specialized school.
I mean, and learning how to get back onto the land and use the land properly and use the resources, the natural capital. I heard this word when I got into permaculture, and it blew my mind. Natural capital, and it was like you literally can go if anybody out there's into gardening and different stuff like that. If you go out to your property, you can literally everything that's on your property that's growing wild, you could make into a resource to sell as fertilizer or something else. There's so much natural capital on your land. And when I realized that, it blew my mind. But what are we taught? We're taught to go to McDonald's. We're taught to go to the convenience store. We're taught to go to the grocery store and get stuff that
McDonald's.
Wall Street controls.
Is that a sponsor? Ding! Give me a bell.
Don't ever eat at Walmart. You see how they conflated in my brain?
Yeah.
Walmart and
There's a
McDonald's.
inside
Tomato,
of Walmart.
tomato. They're the same thing.
Right down in front.
Anyways, I really think, guys, that we need to start schools. We need to found schools. We need to start schools. And if the Lord's put it in your heart, act.
Hey, is this guy you're talking about, is he the one who went down to Arkansas or was wanting to go down to Arkansas because they were doing...
No. That's good old Jim.
Okay.
Jim.
Yeah. Yep.
Jim MC. Good buddy of ours. No, but he's interested. I don't know a parent that's not interested.
I agree.
It just looks like such a foreign, large concept, such an unachievable goal. But in reality, it's super simple. And it's really just a mindset, and we have to break out of it. I want my kids to go to school with your kids, okay? So, and yours.
I don't want my kids to go to school with his.
That's why they don't. We invited them over. Anyways,
they can come over. They just have to stay downstairs.
Don't talk together.
The kids go downstairs. The adults stay upstairs. Keep them separate.
I don't have any kids.
Oh, sorry, Sam. You can't.
Sam, we're trying to build the boat for your kids when they come.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Everyone, Sam's an amazing individual who has no kids and no girlfriend.
Oh!
I'm just saying,
Wow.
he's out. He's just. It's
Is it
hard
by
to find a
choice?
good
Is it by
bachelor.
choice? Okay.
It's hard to find a good bachelor. I endorse Sam.
Oh,
I
you know
do.
what we ought to do?
What?
Around Christmas time, we should do like a dating game for Sam.
All
All of our listeners out there, start submitting your request and pictures, real pictures.
Real pictures.
You know, we don't want that Tinder stuff.
Yeah.
Give us real pictures, and we'll do the dating game.
Real Christian pictures.
I'll bring my microphone, the long, skinny microphone. I'll have my suede. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Christmas.
We're already
Mark it,
planning
dude.
it.
You're going to set
already
me up.
Well, I mean, we will give you options. It'd be
Unless
like,
we like them.
It'd be like
Our wives
it'd be
won't
like Xerxes
that.
and Esther, right? You know, that was a great outcome. That's a great outcome.
I don't know that one.
Read the book of Esther.
Right now.
Right
Do
now.
it.
Wasn't that written by a woman?
It's by a woman. It's about a woman and Mordecai. I don't know if she wrote it.
Not that I wouldn't read it because it's by a woman, but just
Keep digging that
Women
hole,
are good.
Sam.
Yeah, those Beverly Cleary books. That was written by, that's a woman. Those are good. Ramona and whatnot. Hey, all my listeners out there.
You always talk about things that are 10 years older than me.
Well, when the rain was coming down on me in Vietnam, I had to read something.
You and my dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saved my life, man.
Yes, he did. Initiative petition. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about DHSS, Kauroff's acting appointment, which he seems
Paula
to be.
Nicholson.
Paula Nicholson. Nothing. We don't have nothing wrong with Paula.
I don't know.
We don't have an issue with her at all. All we're saying is
we're concerned about the process.
Exactly. Especially since Parson brought in Kauroff and Shield came in and Test to Stay and Fluidigm.
And
Washington
Dolly
University
threw a fit.
And then he threw a fit.
So I can't imagine
he's
he's
not
like,
happy.
I saw the error of my ways. I'm going to bring in somebody that everybody wants.
Right. He seems pretty spiteful.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems that way. So anyways, and then we ranted about the school. It wasn't even on here, but we ranted about it because I think it's very important. It is absolutely
because we're going to talk about the school boards later on, and it's so relevant right now. It's so important to bring up. I like your rants.
Yes, thank
yours
you.
too, Sam.
He's never told me that before. So one thing we do want to bring up, and listen, if y'all don't get excited about this, okay, move away. I don't know. So Senator Rick Bratton,
Yep.
Marine.
Yep.
He running for U.S. Congress. Okay, he is going to be on our show
Next week,
the 11th. Is that right?
Next week, the 11th.
Is that right? Is that a Friday?
Need more calendars.
Is that Friday? I know it's the next Friday. I just want to make sure it's the 11th.
It is next Friday.
It's the next Friday. 11th. 7 days from today.
Yeah.
Senator Rick Bratton will be in studio. Super excited about that.
You'll need another microphone and a chair. I can't give up mine. Is he?
I'll stand.
You'll stand.
I'll stand.
Yeah.
I'll stand at
Brett,
attention
would you let me
side
do
of-
my job?
I won't.
Would you just?
I won't.
Have a little friction.
If you
over
need me to
here.
bring a folding chair, I will.
Or
Hey, Senator, have a seat. Ting, ting.
Well, he's
ting.
a Marine. He's used to anything like that. He can handle it. Maybe your brother has something he can
Yeah, maybe.
bring back.
Actually, no. I'll have him sit, and then I'll yell at him like a drill instructor.
He'll love it. He'll be right at home.
Yeah. I'll be like Jack Webb.
But the biggest thing, and even though I'm super excited about him coming, I'm even more excited about the fact that he introduced an amendment that I think has gotten passed the Senate and is going to the House.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Listen to this, people. He has introduced an amendment that will eliminate property tax from his district.
Incredible. I can't wait to ask him. I
didn't even know it was possible.
I didn't realize it was possible on a district level.
Me either.
So my question is how?
Well, Tony
Tony Lukemeyer, hey,
give us a call.
Yeah.
Or
We'll
don't
get you-
give us a call. Just go
Just do
and
it.
do it.
We'll get you on
Go
the show.
put that amendment in. Call Bratton. He'll be here. We'll get his number for you. I don't know if y'all talk when you're in session or anything. He's a conservative.
Yeah.
But we'll get his number for you. You can find out what he did, or we'll print it out, and then you can copy it word for word, and then you can put it in there for us.
Yeah, so we're looking for Senator Bratton to let us know what the citizens of Missouri can do for their own districts to get that done. That's incredible.
Yeah, especially after they slapped us with the gas tax. My wife said today, she goes, the gas tax is going up. I said, I know. Guys, this is not, understand that this wasn't a gas tax that just went up last year. Mm-mm. It will go up consecutively for the next years.
Yes.
Until it reaches its final plateau. So it will continue to rise, and I hope you get pissed off every time you see it.
Yeah, that needs to go.
Yeah.
That needs to go. And by the way, keep putting those stickers. Keep putting those stickers on those meters because what was up?
Alabama.
Yeah, in
Alabama, a guy who came out, they did a special on it. So the Biden, I did that when it's this big gas price on the gas pump.
Hey, I'm not condoning vandalism. All right.
It's not vandalism.
If it's a sticker?
It's protesting.
Oh, it's a protest. See, I'm promoting a protest.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to get on.
I mean, you don't have to do it.
Stickery, but mostly peaceful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't actually put it on there stickily.
Well, I think stickily.
Is that another?
He's got a.
That's another word.
Don't put it on there. Don't adhere it.
Don't adhere. Adhesive.
Get something you can just hang it on there. And that way it just comes off stickily.
Stickily?
Stickily.
Define it.
Adhesive like. Don't make it sticky.
Should be called stickerly.
Stickerly. Don't do it stickerly.
Anyway, there was
don't
a story.
use the stickiness
There
on
was
the
a
back.
story down in South
Alabama.
In Alabama.
And the guy's like, I take like 5 or 6 off of these a day.
Was he complaining? Or was he like, hey, man, I got like 5
Because they
or
were all
6
like,
of these.
the news was like, this is a real problem.
Big problem.
They've been vandalizing these things. and the gas stations could face vandalizing fines. Like the gas pump people are going to
Taking
come
down
in.
statues is okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Desecrating.
Yeah.
You know, all that's okay.
Oh,
but
yeah.
a sticker,
Remember when they wrote
man.
on
gonna do
Lincoln's
this.
face?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they didn't actually get up that high. It's pretty high up there. They wrote on his shoes.
Arlington National Cemetery. They destroyed.
Oh!
But stickers are offensive. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, we have that hung up.
They desecrated this guy. But you can't put no stickers on a gas pump.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the gas. Because what happened? The first thing that Biden did, he got rid of the what? The Keystone Pipeline?
Yeah, Keystone Pipeline.
And then he started buying oil from who?
Who those guys? They're over in these, just east of Ukraine.
Russia.
Yeah, oh yeah, Mother Russia.
Russia.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
weird. And now he's
Not
all like,
really.
I'm mad at Russia.
Yeah.
We got to sanction Russia. And I also
Well,
need
quit.
500 barrels of gas
Yeah,
real quick.
what was it? $18 billion? Did I ever see that?
Yeah, we were energy independent. Meaning, guys, we didn't need energy from anybody else, and we were actually offering energy to other people, which meant that Russia had less of a hold on anybody else because the European countries didn't have to go to Russia for gas. They had to go to us, and we were all peaceful and stuff, even though it was all these mean tweets.
We're part of the NATO countries, NATO allowance.
Gotta watch out for those mean tweets. Anyways, okay, let's get back into Missouri.
Back to it.
Bratton will be removing property taxes from his district.
Can't wait to talk to him about that
on the
next
show
week,
next
everybody.
week. And we want to make sure that we have the understanding for that because I know everybody out there is probably tired of their property taxes.
Yeah,
and
for years and years and years.
Our roads still suck.
Yeah. My old man used to complain about that. He used to use a different word, but he used to complain about that from when I was a child. Try it, Sam. Try it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
personal property tax is a joke.
Well, it's
1872.
Needs to go.
1872.
It's theft because how do you keep paying taxes on something you already own?
Correct.
That's theft.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Because didn't you have to pay a tax when you bought the darn thing?
Yeah, a lot of taxes and escrow and all that good stuff paid for those taxes. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Should be a good discussion. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I think it's going to be phenomenal. He's a very enjoyable individual. He's fun, and I think he's going to. I hope he fits in.
Oh, we should do I think he would fit in. I tell you what, we ought to do this in an old style black and white. We'll have lights on us, heat lights, on us, and we'll sit back and forth, just the two of us here talking here with a black background and cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
Talking about the.
I hate
the,
cigarettes.
Well,
make me sick.
He's got a ventilator in here. It should be
That's
fine.
true.
It should be fine.
He's got a HEPA filter.
This plant may not make it.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about real quick the redistricting scandal.
Yep.
Remember, guys, this is not over. Redistricting scandal is not over. Palm Strategic was heavily involved in this. Caleb Rowden, Parson, all these people. So what we want to do is what we alluded to before, but we didn't actually tell everybody. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. What we need to do is we need to talk about the conflict of interest. So we talked about this before. Now, remember, John Ratliff and Caleb Rowden are BFFs.
Yeah, they're pals.
He gave a real nice speech. Caleb Rowden gave a real nice speech at John Ratliff's wedding.
Oh.
As his best man. Now, I don't know if the speech was nice or not. I just see the picture. Yeah. And it looks real.
It looks like a good picture.
Intimate.
So you would think it would be a nice speech. Yeah. Most people look good in tuxedos.
This is true.
Either Caleb Rowden.
Well, yeah, he's all right. But point being is, okay, so when all this was going on, remember the redistricting. Remember, guys, the redistricting was done outside of committee, right? They came out with this new map, and they were like, "Hey, look at this new map." Anyways, and Parson appointed John Ratliff, the guy who's the partner to Palm Strategic. Remember, Scott Dykhouse is the guy who wrote the letter for convict Barclage to get off the hook, who likes ranked choice voting. Anyways, Ratliff was appointed to the state Citizens Commission on Redistricting. Shouldn't have been because he has multiple legislative clients in the state and the U.S. Congress, right? Anyways, he was appointed there. So this is an article that came out a couple months back, right? January 24th, 2022. It says, tempers flare in public Senate showdown as redistricting fight looms. Okay, so while the congressional redistricting lines have yet to be drawn, the fissures among Republican senators became even wider Monday. That's a good word, fissures. Mm-hmm. Fissures. The upper chamber which is the Senate, became particularly fraught during an inquiry between Senate Denny Hoskins, Patriot, conservative caucus member, and Majority Floor Leader Caleb RINO Rowden. I added the RINO part.
Incredible.
Which ended with the latter dropping his mic and vehemently walking away from his desk. He dropped his mic.
See, that's why there should be cameras on the floor so we can get that information.
I know. Well, that's why they don't want it, because they don't want to see him strutting away.
Right.
So anyways, Caleb got so pissed off, he dropped his mic and ran away. Okay, vehemently. Walked away. I say he probably power walked.
Yeah.
What was the issue? Yet another rule change. Hoskins proposed adding a rule that would require Senate staffers to publicly identify in the Senate Journal if they are working with a registered lobbying or political consulting firm.
Seems fair.
What a horrible rule.
Hey, we want transparency.
If you have inside connections and a conflict of interest, we want you to tell us.
Yeah.
Son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
How could you? My microphone. Walk away.
Yeah. Walk away. Get out of here. Go.
Sorry.
It's not over, John.
So Hoskins said a Senate staffer, actually multiple Senate staffers, who is working on the Select Committee on Redistricting was employed with Palm Strategic while also working for the committee and as Rowden's staff member last year. Mm-hmm. What does that mean, guys? It means somebody that was working for Palm Strategic, who have multiple clients, was also on the payroll of Senator Rowden, which means it being paid by us, our payroll.
Tax dollars.
Was also on the
Personal
redistricting committee, right? So all this conflict of interest, and he's just over there just talking about maps and writing map stuff around. And this is what Rowden says. Just a second. So he says, this is going super slow.
What's it say, Josh?
He says, when people have friends, they do things for their friends. It's called relationships.
Can I get you on a split saying that?
Right. It's 1, 2, 3. It's called relationships.
Which I don't quite understand what he means by it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
If my friend is a political consultant and he's got people on his, as clients that want certain districts, and then I got access to the committee and I can put him on there, then that's what I should do because I'm his friend.
Yeah, but how...
Did you have some of his wedding cake? It was delicious.
Yeah. Did he have to divulge that relationship? Did he have to come out and say, hey, I got this guy. He was... he gave a speech and what have you.
No, no. That's the whole thing. Senator Hoskins was like, we should probably make this a rule that if you are working for a lobbying firm or a consulting firm and also working at the state, in other words, playing both sides of the fence, you should probably tell people so the public can know.
Right.
This is a politician.
I guess
a politician.
The thing that, it's a politician. But the thing that surprises me that it wasn't already a rule.
Right.
It seems like a huge conflict.
That is. Well, I guess maybe because.
Thank you, Senator, for bringing it up.
Yes, thank you, Senator Hoskins, because obviously we haven't had what we've needed for a while.
I just assumed.
Which made a butt out of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some multiple people. Okay. And this is what's funny, right? So this came from the Caleb Rowden expose, or actually the redistricting scandal expose. So this is what we did. We just kind of got on. On Facebook, and looked at stuff, and got on LinkedIn, and just put things together.
You looked at
In fact, I just typed somebody's name in on one thing, and it was like, "Hey, this is my About Me page," and it tells me everything. I was like, "These people really are dumb," or they think we're dumb and sleepy. They're like. Yeah. All of our constituents are sleepy.
A little bit of both, probably.
Probably. Dumb and sleepy.
Yeah.
They're dumb and we're sleepy, but we're waking up and they're still dumb. Works out in our favor. Anyways, so Ratliff creates or does a post with Scott Dickhouse. How do you say that? I'm not even trying to say it.
Let's get him on the show.
It's just a dirty name. He says, this is October 22nd, 2021. He says, what a week. It has been a great week to spend, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go over that because that's
Who are you
stuff.
impersonating here?
This is John Ratliff. What a week.
That sounded like him. Okay.
It's multiple explanation points. It has been great to spend the last few days in this area with my people and our Palm Strategic team. This week, I was very honored to receive the 40 Under 40 award from the American Association of Political Consultants. I bet you were. I've been given many opportunities during my career by clients and mentors who believe in me and have helped me get where I am today. I want to thank people, and then specifically our team, Palm Strategic Group, for helping me accomplish those dreams. Going down further, thank you specifically to my team, Scott Dickhouse, whatever. Matt, I know, Matt Thompson. This person I'm not going to name because I don't think she's a part of the other side. Alexandria Seipert and Stuart Murray. I couldn't have done it without you. So now understand when he says, this is my team. This is my Palm Strategic team. Yep. Now let me read you those names elsewhere.
Okay. Alexandria
Zunsteg, which is her maiden name, is also Seipert. She is the district director at Senator Caleb Rowden. That's what her LinkedIn says.
Okay.
And it also says that she was the chief of staff for Senator Caleb Rowden in 2018. It says till present, but that's not true because that changed. You need to update it, Alexandria. She was the chief of staff back in 2015, and then political director for Rowden for State Senate back in August of 2016. So she's been in the mix for a while. Yeah. She's also on the Palm Strategic team, and I believe she was also on the redistricting committee. The other person, Stuart Murray. Yeah. Okay, so I just type in Stuart Murray, Missouri politics, and then this comes up, and it says chief of staff in Jefferson City, Missouri. Hey there, this is his thing. Uh-huh. Hey there, I'm Stuart. I currently serve as the chief of staff to Missouri State Senator Caleb Rowden, R. Columbia, which means he's a Republican from Columbia. Prior work experience, communications director for Caleb Rowden for State Senate. Okay. Consultant for several local, state, and federal political campaigns through Palm Strategic Group. And legislative assistant to State Representative Caleb Rowden. And some other people.
Now, could this all just be a coincidence?
It could be.
They work for Rowden and then now they work for Palm Strategic? I mean,
no, they work at the same time.
Oh,
that's the conflict of interest.
Are you allowed to have two jobs?
That
like
is
moonlighting?
The conflict of interest. And then, so Matt Thompson, and this guy is like supposedly the guy that helped write the map. Uh-huh. He was so remember in the article, Hoskins was saying that he was on his staff last year and now he's on the redistricting committee. What's up, dude? Yeah. Well, guess what they did? They just switched teams. He went from Team Rowden to Team Schatz. Let me read this to you. Okay, so this is January 6th, 2022. Now remember, guys, January 6th, 2022, this is when session started, even though they came out with the map a little bit before that, right? The 2022, but now they're sealing the deal. Missouri State President Pro Tem Dave Schatz from Sullivan named Matthew Thompson to the position of chief of staff for his office, effective immediately. Thompson, listen, who is staffing the Senate Select Committee on Redistricting. Let me tell you what that means. That means Thompson chose the people to work on the staff for the staffers. And if you know anything about politics and the way this goes, the staff does the majority of the work. Yeah. The staff is like anybody who's sent me and you information, and we just come out and talk, and they make us look good. Mm-hmm. That's really, that's it, right? So these are the ones.
You got to do better.
These are the ones. No, these are the ones who are actually doing most of the legwork, right, and putting everything together. And he was in charge of hiring them. He was the hiring manager, basically. Yeah. Is the best way to put it, right? Yeah. And then it says he previously served as legislative director for Senate Majority Floor Leader Caleb Rowden. Thompson brings 8 years of state and federal experience to the position, having also worked for the residents of Missouri's 3rd Congressional District. You know who that is?
Who's that?
Blaine Luke Meyer. I just put that together. I didn't even know. No.
I got a book here.
He's not in
General
that one.
Assembly. He's not in this one?
Oh, yeah, he is in that one.
Yeah,
he's in
that
one.
Yep. Yeah, love was in the air when we got this.
Love was in the air. That lady was super cool. She was like,
she was cool, wasn't she? Yeah.
So I'll just keep reading this while you're looking it up.
Please.
So he is a graduate of the University of Missouri-Columbia. Matt is an accomplished professional who has worked exceptionally hard to build many positive, enduring relationships with the General Assembly, said Senator Schatz. I'm confident in his ability to manage the office of the President Pro Tem, and I appreciate his continued service to the people of Missouri. Now, you know, what is the word contextually? Conceptually. There we go.
Yeah.
Those
Work on it, man.
same names are kind of hard. Anyways, point being is we know the path of Schatz. We know what he's done. We know how he did the whole gas tax and all this other malarkey that he's been a part of, and how he's pushing the bad map, and how he tried to get rid of Moon and then had to fold and had to bring him back on, which was wonderful. And you know, this is the guy he chooses, and it was the same guy that was a part of Palm Strategic. He was also with Caleb Rowden before. Caleb Rowden's best friends with Palm Strategic's principal partner on the staff, or on the Citizens Commission appointed by Parson. There's just so much corruption. Like that is all the good old boys network.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. It's a cycle.
Yeah. So you've got these people, you know what you want, right? You used to work for the 3rd Congressional District, which is Blaine Luetkemeyer, right? All of these people are all winning some way in this map situation. And these are the ones that have been in charge of it. And Caleb Rowden throws his mic down and runs away like a she-bear because somebody brought it up. You know?
So if there isn't anything wrong with it, you would think he would have been able to stand there.
Yeah, just been like, oh, dude, listen.
Like, I mean, look, these people are qualified to do their job.
Right.
I like these people. I trust these people. This is my pal. He's on here.
Right. But the reason why he didn't say that is because they're shining a light on their insider bull. Yeah. Bull hunky. Okay, so
word of the week.
Bull hunky. So
there's a lot of words of the week, man.
Consultants, clients. I know. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say next week.
Yeah.
Maybe Ratliff will
You'll mess up somewhere.
So Jonathan Ratliff, again, he is the principal partner along with Scott Dykhouse, I don't know. Who, remember, that. So Ratliff, one side, has worked on the redistricting scandal. The other side stood in the gap for Barklage, who is also pushing ranked choice voting, right? So, and then, you know, what's funny is they all peer together on old Dolly Parson.
Yep.
It's interesting. Anyways, this is on the Palm Strategic site. If you go to the Palm Strategic site, you could read this for yourself. But it says, this is Caleb Rowden, his, what is it called? Reference? His shout out. I don't know why I can't ever think of that word.
Referral, his recommendation.
His recommendation, his review.
Make up a word.
His likability. I don't know. This is his promotional statement. Anyways, it says Jonathan and Scott
are testimonial.
Testimonial.
How about that?
There it is. Testimonial.
Testimonial.
Jonathan and Scott are the best up and coming political minds in the business. I wouldn't have been successful without them. I believe you, Caleb.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I have no doubt in my mind.
And then let's see what old Blaine Luetkemeyer said, the U.S. Congressman for District 3.
Yeah, what's Blaine say?
Palm is unique. That's interesting. Palm is unique. Let me stretch this out so I can see it. They aren't just good at vision and strategy. They're good at the details of the vision and strategy as well.
So what? Say that again. They're not even good. They're gooder than good.
They aren't... Palm is unique. Okay. They aren't just good at vision and strategy. They're good at the details of the vision and the strategy as well.
Okay. All right. So it's not quite as good as good.
They're not just hyperbolic. They come with a plan.
That's right.
They got notes. Hyperbolic. They bring notes. You should see their notes. Some of the best notes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't even write notes, and my staff does. They had notes. I saw his pen had half the ink gone. He must have used it. I don't like these people. Anyways.
Really?
Redistricting scandal, Palm Strategic. You heard the names of the people who were, maybe they didn't do anything.
Maybe
I think
not.
it's fair to ask them.
Yeah,
they are on
absolutely
the public's payroll, and they are working for Palm Strategic, and they did work on the redistricting map, and we hate the map that they've made.
The map is not good. Go back to the drawing board, re-strategize.
Or give us that 611 map so that we can take out Emmanuel Cleaver and earn our 7-1. I'll take that one too.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to take the Shaw map or the Pelosi map. We don't want it.
No.
I hope you guys have remembered to set alarms and send emails.
Would you
daily.
remind them of that?
Yeah, so they are going to judge everything based off of the engagement from us. So you need to make sure you're setting an alarm every day, at the same time every day, whenever you have time to do it. It doesn't even matter if it's 2 a.m. if you're overnight worker or whatever.
Within the 24 hours of the clock, ought to do.
Agreed. And all you got to do is have your senator, and then the pro tem Dave Schatz and the Caleb majority leader, Caleb Rowden, their emails. And you just need to send them emails. Send them all in one. Send them all in lump sum. You don't even have to send 3 separate ones. Just like CC them. And put on there, I want a 7-1 map. And we do not want the Shaw map. SHAUL. Or you can call it the Pelosi map. They know what you're talking about when you say it. Yeah, they do. So you say you don't want either one of those maps, and you want the redistricting map that matters. And that's the one that's given representation for the people. Mm-hmm. Remember, they will tell you that this map is a 4-4 map in a bad year.
No,
right?
It's not.
Well, how is a 6-2 map not worse? Like, if a 7-1 map is a 4-4 map in a bad year, you think it's going to be bad enough that it's going to sway 3 districts? No way. Not going to happen. Anyway, if that's the case, then do a 7-1 map. Right. Then it's right. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. No, and they're just we don't want it. We don't like to bring in the rural with the urban. Well, way to be a Missourian.
Yeah. No kid. What's
That flowed. That flowed. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, it exposes them of who they really are.
No,
right?
but he said, what did you say? Something to Missourian. It's just
way to be a Missourian. Yeah. Well, they don't want the rural. They don't want the rural in the urban. That way to be the Missourian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
So, but truly, right? True. They're like this is their reasoning, guys. And I know some people out there may say, well, they don't vote like us. Well, just do your job. Like, if you went out, instead of saying, I want to make these congressional lines, or I want to make these districting lines so that I keep out people that I don't really agree with, then how are you winning the hearts and minds of the people? Right. How are you doing a good enough job? Like, to me, I feel like what I want to do is I literally want to make policy and do things that are going to help everybody.
Correct.
And I don't understand what policies wouldn't, because the bad policies that are in place. They're the actual change that keep the people down. Mm-hmm. If we changed like the welfare state and offered a stair-step program to get out of it instead of staying sucked into it, to where I pay you more money if you have a kid without a father, and I incentivize you to not have a kid than to have a kid, or to have a father, to have a full relationship. That's horrible. That is destroying the family network on purpose. Mm-hmm. There's so many other things we could do. So if you decided that you wanted to go in and be a real conservative and give real valuable legislation that could change people's lives, like school choice, that would be one of the biggest ones, to give these kids good education all across the board. Absolutely. Not in just these specific areas, right, but all over the state, and bring these people out of the positions that they've been in, all of us, then who's not going to vote for you?
Correct. Yeah.
Man, that's what these people have done. They've schemed a way to keep up with their guidelines, to keep up with their narrative, to stay away from the people that don't like their narrative, so that they can keep running off with the money, and they can keep running off with the prestige and the cushy jobs, instead of getting out there and working and doing real good work and bringing the people to you.
Correct.
I guarantee you, if you went out there and you were genuinely open and honest and asked what was needed done and went and fought for it, you would have no enemies except for the establishment, who are pissed off and want you to stop taking their money and their control.
People are hungry for change of some sort.
And leadership.
Yes. Speak to them.
Yes.
Fight in the arena.
Yes.
Right? Your ideas. That is what is going to get people on your side. You playing this nonsense backroom horse.
Yep.
Easy.
Yeah.
Political games. I cut myself.
Whoa.
I normally don't catch myself.
Yeah.
But you're playing these games on the back end, and you're looking to keep people out.
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell are you?
You can say that.
To do
fine.
that.
Yeah.
You know? That's reprehensible. That's,
I
that's
agree.
absolutely disgusting.
I agree. It is. it's discrimination depending on, it doesn't matter who
Correct.
you are, you know.
Yeah.
Like we're Americans, we come together, and that's
Right.
what's necessary. So remember, they need to hear from you. Call them and leave it and send an email. It literally takes, I mean, if you get a good process down, it takes
30
you,
seconds.
if that. I mean, you get your phone,
unless you got to log into the computer or something. You
Well,
got a
Brett,
computer over there, Sam?
Brett types with one finger, so it takes him a while.
I lost one of them mid-nom. Boy, this guy. He is rude.
On that note, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
I feel like I'm prostituting myself when I say that.
Whoa.
Wait, can I tune in here just for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, we get Sam paying attention. Sam prostitute.
Sam brought up something that's fiery. Go ahead, Sam. Let us know.
Yes.
It's necessary that they do like, comment, and subscribe, because then more people will get to see it.
That's why you want to do
well,
it.
yeah. Well, I think that everybody who's listening is probably under the same mindset.
You're
We're
right.
like, we gotta.
It is the game, and we have to play the game.
Understood.
You're right, sir.
Understood.
Now, don't fire me for after.
Yeah.
If I fire you, we're screwed, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, what am I going to do with my one finger?
Click. Somebody hit shift.
Actually, with that one finger, I could use that trumpet button. Did you get that trumpet button like I asked?
Beep, beep. Okay. Truly, though, we have to keep engaged. I know things fall off. There's so many other things going on, but it is so important for us to stay focused on what matters, because if they slip this in, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Especially that.
It's going to make our battle much harder.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they took it off the table. They're trying to get it out of sight, out of mind. This is how you can keep it in the forefront.
Right. And we're going to keep, every time we have an episode, I'm going to bring it up. Every single time. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to move into Eric. Not Schmidt, not Greitens.
Nah.
For all of you guys who are like, yeah, not those guys. No? They weren't like that?
I don't think they were like that. I don't think they were snapping their fingers like that. They could have been. I don't know all of our listeners.
I've just seen so much like zeal and zest, like on an orange peel, for these guys, and I'm like, we're not gonna go there. It's just funny. It's funny how like electrified it is, and I'm thankful because that means everybody is really engaged on this whole thing, because it's important. I mean, and you know what's funny is no one cares who the Democratic nominee is, because like we know that we have to push for this.
Right.
You know? I mean, when you're a 6'2" now, you should be able to get somebody in the Senate who's a Republican. Now, the biggest fear is making sure we get a real Republican and not a RINO, because that will be horrible. Josh Hawley's worked really hard. We want to make sure we put somebody in working like him.
Yes.
Because he is our public servant. He's done a wonderful job, and he earns and deserves our praise or our thanks. Yeah. Right?
Our support.
Yeah, 100%.
Always keep an eye on it, but when they're doing good things, they need to be praised for.
Right, absolutely. It's like a good parent. Any good parent. When your kid's doing well, I'm not calling you kid, Josh, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you're there, they're more likely to do keep you proud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We can't turn our backs and let the enemy sneak in.
Correct.
Okay, anyways, ERIC. So ERIC stands for the Electronic Registration Information Center. ERIC. It was formed in 2002, and its whole job is to clean up voter rolls. That's what it says it does.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what the intent is. So
it is this big database. Here it is up here. It's bigger than my hands. It's just so you can see it. It's this database up here. And what happens is all the data goes up into it so that they can. So their statement is basically that they are doing it to find voters. In other words, they're all like, yeah, we just want to activate voters and get them to vote because that's the most important thing, which it absolutely is, but the way that they're doing it. So here's the thing. This is what they say. ERIC is a nonprofit organization with the sole mission of assisting states to improve the accuracy of America's voter rolls and increase access to voter registration for all eligible citizens. ERIC is governed and managed by states who choose to join and was formed in 2012. That's such a lie. It was formed in 2012 with assistance of the Pew Charitable Trust. Anybody know who sponsors or funds the Pew Charitable Trust?
Tell us, Josh.
George Soros.
Open society, huh?
Open society.
So
and the Rockefeller Family Fund.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Remember those guys? I mean, the oil barons or robber barons. The guy who changed naturopathy medicine to allopathy medicine. The guy, I don't know if you guys know this, but Rockefeller, through the Flexner Report, go look this stuff up, changed and created the medical system that we have now. the centralized medical system, right? And the reason why is because he found out that he could make medicine, prescription drugs that are petroleum based. What was Rockefeller famous for? Wasn't it oil?
Oil.
And the oil, also known as petroleum. Like if you go to the UK, they'd be like, I need some petrol.
I
need some petrol.
Yeah.
Is that a good one? Is that a good voice? Is that a good accent?
It was a very good accent. Yeah. We'll work on that. There'll be another show.
I need some petrol. Still not there.
No.
Okay. So the point being is, these people are bad news. Anyways, they create this system. Okay, let me tell you the guy's name who created the framework and founded it. His name is David Becker. Okay. Now, David Becker is a very mean leftist. Like, no joke. So one of his things, David Becker condemned efforts by President Donald Trump and his supporters to challenge the results of the 2020 presidential election. He has argued that there was minimal evidence of security flaws in voting systems and almost no evidence of fraud. He said of the campaign's litigation efforts, frivolous would probably be kind. The fact is, there has never been a presidential campaign that has had more of an opportunity to be heard in court by judges from across the political spectrum and present evidence than the Trump campaign. He's a lying piece of scum. He also called the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, the Fedsurrection, domestic terrorism. So you guys getting a picture of where this guy's coming from?
Yeah, okay.
So he was the executive director and co-founder of E.R.I.C. He also created the Center for Election Innovation and Research, which is CEIR, CEIR. We'll get into that over the next coming weeks too. But before he did that, he was in the DOJ and he was in the voting section of the DOJ for the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and where he led numerous investigations into violations of federal voting laws regarding redistricting, minority voting rights, voter intimidation, and vote dilution. During his time at the Justice Department, David worked on dozens of state enforcing federal election laws. But so get this though, and then David's appearances in the media include the New York Times,
all right,
the Washington Post, MSNBC, and NPR.
Yeah, leftist rags.
He has been published several times, including by Stanford Social Innovation Review and University of California, Berkeley.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He received both of his degrees from the University of Berkeley.
Interesting. That's good.
California, Berkeley. Yeah. So,
well educated.
Yeah, right. So this is what's crazy. So he gets an ethics violation in 2005, right?
For what?
So it's so funny, right? So he gets this ethics violation for ethics complaint.
Oh, okay.
He was still a trial lawyer in the Civil Rights Division. A formal complaint was made against Becker after he contacted the city of Boston, offering to help defeat a lawsuit opened against them by his employer. He's working for the Civil Rights Division. The Civil Rights Division opens a lawsuit against the city of Boston, and the guy who's supposed to be a part of the Civil Rights Division comes in underhandedly and tells Boston, "I'll help defend you." Because I know people.
I see.
What? So and what it was said about it, it was the most unethical thing ever seen.
Yeah.
And by a hardcore leftist who couldn't stand conservatives. He wrote like all of these disparaging things in an email. It all got uncovered in the investigation.
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay.
And you know what his statement was?
What?
He said he didn't deny these claims. He said there was no action taken against me by the Department of Justice as a result of this complaint.
Oh.
So no, he just blew it off as irrelevant.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, Soros, Rockefeller,
so this
David
is the guy
Becker,
we're dealing with here.
Well, this is his company and his framework.
Oh.
So this guy is heavily educated in the law framework of elections.
It appears to be, just based on that article alone and some of the other things that you said, that he said. I don't know if election integrity is his main objective.
Well, he knows all about it. He's studied the enemy.
Okay.
Right? So he knows the ins and outs.
Who does he consider to be the enemy?
Election integrity.
Oh, okay.
Election integrity.
Election integrity is the bad guy.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's educated in all this, and so now he creates the E.R.I.C system with funding from Rockefeller Family Fund and Soros. Okay. So he makes this tool, and basically what the tool is they say that it is something that takes in all the data, okay, of voter data, and then helps you clean the voter rolls and help you find voters. Okay. Now, get this, okay. In 2016, they found 14 million voters.
Whoa.
They just found them.
What are they doing?
I don't know. They were
hanging
just
out?
like, they were like, hey, y'all come out here. Come out in the light. I don't know why you're hiding. We just need you to vote.
14 million.
14 million. And then they found, guess how many they found in 2020?
Well, let's see here. 14 million. Oh, 17 million.
17 million.
17.
That's on top of it. It's not like the 14 went away and they found them again and they're counting them again. That's on top of it. They found over like 56 million voters since 2012. Okay. Now get this. This is how they do it. And wait. How many voters in New York and California do you think that they removed because they were inaccurate?
Combined? 12.
2.
2. I was over. I was over by 10.
Off by
1. And you know what? Those were all great guesses. In 2 of the biggest states of voting, California, I mean the biggest state in the union, and then New York, very heavily populated state, they only removed 0. Says 0 to 2. So I don't know. That's the combination. They only removed 2, but they found over 56 million voters. Now, listen to what happens. When they take the data, this is what you have to do. And remember how I just read it says that it's governed by the states, managed by the states? It's managed by their bylaws. Okay. The bylaws state that they have to submit voter rolls, active and inactive, every 60 days, continually giving them the data. Okay. Not only that, okay, they have to give them every individual in their state's motor vehicle department database. Every individual. And it's if they have a license, a driver's license, or just an ID. That means your kids. That means in the certain states where illegals get IDs or whatever, or immigrants get IDs for immigrant status or whatever, so they're here legally, but they can't vote yet. So, you know, they're working on citizenship. All of these people. And you know what they also say? They do not, they said, under no circumstances do we want to know if they're illegal citizens or not.
I don't understand why.
I don't know. Why wouldn't you want to know that? They're supposed to find voters. They're supposed to clean the voter rolls, but they don't. They want everybody in your DMV database, okay, licensed or with an ID. They don't want to know if they are illegals or not. They don't want to know their voting status. And then they just upload them into the thing, into the database, and then through the database, this guy from IBM is one who created the actual tech, right? So homeboy Becker created the framework, the architecture of it, so the legal sphere, and then the other guy created the actual tech. So they take this all. Listen to the data they want.
Okay.
They want then the data includes names, addresses, date of birth, driver's license number, last 4 of your social security number, your voter activity, phone number, email, your title, and your type of citizenship. But they don't want to know if you're legal or not.
Okay, so let's stop there real quick. So these bylaws aren't state bylaws. These are E.R.I.C bylaws.
These are contract laws for this non-profit organization.
Okay.
That
Okay. And that is a lot of data, a lot of private information that the states, 31 states,
are handing over
to a private company.
And this is what they do. They use them to cross-reference. So there's 31 states a part of this now. So they say they're using it to cross-reference. But if they find out that somebody's a duplicate name, they just give it back to the states, and then the state has to reach out to the other state to verify. So they don't even do anything.
Right.
So what the concern is you have the ability to come in here, and what they do is then they provide targeted lists to the states of people to go after for voting.
And why those targeted people? Is there a reason for that?
Well, they're just trying to get people voting.
I see.
Yeah. This person could vote, and they're not voting, and you need to vote them. Whether it be somebody who is approaching voting age, 17 years old, and will be 18 when the time comes, they're on that list. Or if it's somebody who's been inactive that needs to be pushed into active status, and their laws say that you have to 95% of the people that are put on the list have to be contacted and solicited for voting to register to vote within 90 days. If not, they'll kick you out of your group. They'll kick you out. So
E.R.I.C will kick them out.
Yeah, but the states manage it.
Sure they do.
Right? So the membership fee to get in is $25,000, but then it can cost millions to fund the activities and membership dues. And get this, the membership dues are created every year by the board of directors
of E.R.I.C.
Every year, and they create it and they put it on the schedule, and there is no rhyme or reason to it. It's completely up to them, arbitrary. Whatever they want to put out there, however they want to put it up, and you got to pay the dues. It costs millions of dollars to do it.
Taxpayer funded.
Oh yeah,
million
our money.
of dollars.
It costs us millions of dollars to do it. And this is what's crazy. So if they've come up with 56 million voters, or just in 2020, they found 17 million voters that they hadn't found before, that hadn't voted before, or were inactive status, or hadn't voted recently, right? And they've only cleared off like literally 2 people from a voter roll. And then they can cross-reference these votes. They can exchange these votes. So the fear is when you have all these mail-in ballots, when you have all of these drop boxes, when you have all of this no excuse early voting that our senators want to put in, right? They now have the database of people to cover that. So I can pad the voter rolls now. Yeah. You got 5 million extra votes? I got 5 million people you can swap. Because guess what? If you're in, say, they have you cross in 3 states. Well, the only way that we're going to find that out is that they tell all 3 states, and then the states go and they actually verify you, specifically the states themselves. So they're not doing it. They're not going to do that.
No.
So it is a database that allows all of the voting records. It aggregates every living individual that is actually in the state, puts a name to a registration basically, and then allows for a vote. So they are finding votes. It's started by the Soros. The beginning funding was Soros and Rockefeller. It was started by David Becker, right, who is a complete leftist, right? You heard what he said about January 6th, right? Domestic terrorism. You heard what he said about the Trump campaign. Zero fraud. We see everything. What did Wisconsin just come out and say?
Yeah.
To decertify.
They're wanting to.
Right. Well, I mean, their special counsel came out and said this needs to be done because this was completely fraudulent, right?
Yeah, whether they do it or not, that's a different story.
Agreed.
Different state.
Agreed.
We'll get to that on the next show.
So the point being is...
So let me... before you go on. So Eric is in the state of Missouri. What I would like to know is how did that get in the state of Missouri? Who signed off on it? What signature? What legislation was passed? Was it on a ballot? How did that get in? Who's paying that fee, that $25,000 fee, and then the hidden $1 million fees every year?
So I have the same questions, and I actually texted Jay Ashcroft. So I remember when we went down to Clay County, the senators thing. Was it Clay County? It was, right?
It was Clay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was there. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
I have no Secretary Ashcroft. I'm putting this out there. I have no qualms with you whatsoever. None. You were a very down to earth person. You talked to me for like 20 minutes. And I walked away liking you, okay? I mean, I didn't know you before that, but my initial impression is that you're a good guy, and I've heard from a lot of people that you're a good guy. So when I say this, I'm not putting any disparaging out there.
I was wasting my time with Billy Bars.
Yeah, for sure. But the point being is I texted him because he gave me his cell phone number, and he was like, most people don't think that's my cell phone number, but it is. And I believe him. And somebody I was talking to the other night is like, yeah, he does that, and he probably shouldn't. I was thought the same thing. I was like, you probably shouldn't give this to me. But anyways, this is the first time I actually have used it. And I texted him. I just asked some simple questions. And it's just so that everybody understands, and maybe this is some questions that we can all ask, right? Now, he hasn't gotten back to me yet. That's not to say that he won't. This guy is the Secretary of State. It's not like he has a bunch of time on his hands, right? So let me just find this text real quick. Okay. So the questions are this. Who was involved, and how was it decided that Missouri would become a member of E.R.I.C? And then second, who has direct oversight of this relationship? And then third, what is your professional opinion of our partnership with E.R.I.C, right? And I literally want to ask him because if anybody should know, it should be the Secretary of State. And at the same time, like I respect his opinion. So I did ask them that. I hope that we get a response back because those are important questions because I don't know how it happened. And knowing how this works, the worst part, guys, is this. So E.R.I.C has in their contract, they have a clause in there or whatever, a line in there that states that you can't make it's called the election list maintenance records. Okay, you can't make the election list maintenance records or the data public. Okay, well, there is a law that's the New Voter Registration Act from 1993. They call it. Some people call it the Motor Act, and it has a public information provision in there that states, this is federal law, that states that the list maintenance records must be made public.
But E.R.I.C is saying that they can't per contract.
E.R.I.C is telling the states they can't.
Yeah.
per the contract, okay? And so what the states say when we say, okay, hey, we want to see this. Now, I haven't asked Missouri. This is just what's happened in multiple other states that are getting sued over this kind of stuff. They say, and let me explain real quick what list maintenance records are. So it's active voter, inactive voter, changing from inactive status to active status, changing from inactive status to ineligible status. Might be because you moved, might be because somebody passed away, right? Or you became a felon and you can't vote or something like that, right? So it's just the reasons why you can't or can't vote. You know, that person's dead. You mark this person dead. Why? Obviously because they're dead, but we're saying, like, do you have a validated death certificate? You know, what is the reason? So that is the information that by the Motor Act, or the new Voter Registration Act, that public information provision states that we have the right federally, federal law, which this one trumps state law and it's not repugnant to the Constitution. We have the right to see it. Okay. Well, in E.R.I.C, their contract, their private contract, right, with the state says that you can't share that. So if you ask the state says, oh, I can't, because if I do, it validates the contract with E.R.I.C, right? Well, guess what? There's this thing called void for public policy. That is something that you learn in the first year of law school when you're learning contract law, that any policy or anything that, any issue put into a contract, any contract that breaks the law is void because of public policy. In other words, the example the guy gave was, you can't make a contract to say that we're going to race down I-29 going 95 miles an hour during rush hour, because that's illegal. It's illegal. Right. So that is void for public policy. So if he took that to the courts, right, if E.R.I.C was like, oh, you broke the law, and they were like, well, and they go to court, they'd be like, no, struck immediately, because that's void for public policy. So E.R.I.C has a contract that is void for public policy that the states hide behind. So E.R.I.C is just the smoke and mirrors, because what they do is they do the data, they give the data to the state, and then they say,
That sounds like where the Attorney General could come in and have a case.
Sounds like it. Wonder if he would.
Yeah.
Schmidt, are you willing to do some more work before you go to the Senate?
That might be a good one. But it also sounds like, too, we can get out of it if we don't, what'd you say, we have to...
The contract is void as is.
Yeah.
So the state doesn't have to worry about it, right? And get this. There was this thing called a Kansas cross-check. Have you ever heard of that? I just heard about it today. So basically, it was the same kind of thing that E.R.I.C was doing with cleaning voter rolls, but it was for free. It was free. It was a free service, Kansas cross-check, and they were working, all the states were working together to cross-reference data.
Yeah.
Right? The way it should be. And it was free. And then they went after them with legalities and all this other shit and took them out so that...
But how could they take them out legally? What law?
Because they were saying they were like it's data that can't be touched. You know, they just use the law against them. Anyways, they just threatened them with a lot of different lawsuits and stuff, so they kind of shut it down. But the whole point was they didn't want any competition for E.R.I.C, because you got to understand this. Who are they going to go to and find out how can they go validate any of this? There's no one to go validate it to. If E.R.I.C controls Missouri's voter registration, how can we go get it validated by anybody else? We can't.
So if Kansas has E.R.I.C, we can't go to Kansas. We're right on the border. Move from one state to the next, but we can't go and validate.
Nope. And so they control it. So it's a monopoly in that sense. But the whole point is it's a smoke and mirrors for the states. Yeah. E.R.I.C is just a beard for a beardless man. You know what I'm saying? Like they use E.R.I.C as their way out of showing you the list maintenance data.
Got it.
And they also use E.R.I.C as a source.
So the state's not a prisoner. They're pretending that they're a prisoner of E.R.I.C.
Right.
Ah, well,
and then E.R.I.C, what I just read, is pretending that they're just a servant of the states.
Yeah.
Interesting how that works.
Who's responsible?
That's what I want to know.
Any of our listeners, any of our watchers, if you guys have some insight on that, send it over to us.
Yeah. Info at morinowatch.com. That's where you can submit all kinds of information.
Yeah.
And like, share, and subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding.
So, I mean, but that's the thing. So I've heard about E.R.I.C. I've got a friend of ours, Cam. She is amazing. She's been digging into this for a long time, and she's been talking about this, and I finally had the capacity and the bandwidth in my brain to go in and look at it too. And I only spent 2 days on this. Really, I spent like 3 hours total just kind of going through all kinds of different articles, and there's already been some great work done. And the reason I'm even bringing it up is because it's in Missouri.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. the same guy, the David Becker guy, he created the E.R.I.C architecture. He also created CEIR, which is the same thing as CTCL, which is that, and I got to dig into more of that to give more details, but it was that same mechanism that Zuckerberg used to recruit people to give out all that money so they could get drop boxes and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. So David Becker gave out, distributed $69.5 million in grants from Zuckerberg in 2020 for the election. So E.R.I.C is bad. And see, this is what frustrates me, and this is where I'm coming in like thinking about all these people, every one of them, Schmidt, Ashcroft, Parson. We're not even considering him anymore. We know where he lies. But I just want to know, like, why isn't anybody taking a stand for this? Mm-hmm. Is this not important? I would love just a simple answer that I can validate, right? That this is what we do with E.R.I.C, or will you show us? Write this. Let's write the Secretary of State. Let's write the legislator. Let's write somebody. Let's write the director. Who is that lady? She is the director of. She's on. So everybody is on the board, right? So bylaws, membership, summary of membership guidelines. Oh, and they haven't put out an annual report since 2017. So,
but they had to do it annually.
Chrissy Peters, she is the executive committee member. She's the senior director of elections in Missouri's elections division. So let's call her.
Say that again.
Chrissy, Crissy Peters. Chrissy Peters, executive committee member of E.R.I.C. She's also the senior director of elections, Missouri elections division. So Ashcroft, you know what? Forgive me. You're probably not the one we should go to. We should probably go directly to her, because if anybody has the direct insight, it's the executive committee member.
Her.
Yeah, so everyone, Chrissy Peters, let's send her an email and let's ask her this. Will you provide the list maintenance records for our voter rolls? And see what they say.
Yeah.
If she does, good. And then ask her, why are you in E.R.I.C? When
was that decision made?
I need to find that out too.
Why do we continue to be?
When did this? Well, and I think
how is this keeping our elections open and honest and fair, safe, all that?
Safe, yeah, exactly.
That'd be nice. Just on the surface, that all seems highly questionable.
Oh yeah,
especially when you're talking George Soros here,
or anybody who's involved in it. George Soros, the Rockefeller Family Fund.
Yeah.
David Becker.
Yeah.
And
I knew a David Becker.
Did you?
Yeah, he's not the same guy, though.
Yeah, hopefully he was a better guy.
The guy I knew was a good guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We like that, David Becker.
Yeah.
So this is what's going on. We have this and this is a multi-tiered scheme. So you have this database that basically collects, it's like a goodie bag. I think that's the way that Jovan Pulitzer put it. They have a goodie bag, and they use that goodie bag where they need it. Oh, you got some extra, they watch all of the elections, they keep up with the trends. So like in Platte County, people are like, it's kind of purple. No, it's not.
Platte County?
Yeah.
No.
It's a red county.
Yes.
The reason why it looks purple is because they're doing this kind of stuff. They ping in. They take their time and they slowly take over these places. These people are methodical.
Yeah.
I mean, if you follow the Rockefeller family or the Rothschild family or whatever, this is a long-term goal. These people are the spawn of Satan, and they literally have a long-term goal of taking over the world. And this is the way they do it. Yes.
They're relentless.
Yes. And I don't mean Democrats or whatever. I mean these people who are part of this system, whether they be Republican or Democrat, and I use those quotes liberally.
Yeah.
It's the people who are part. It's the people who are a part of.
You are correct, sir. Yes.
It's the people who are part of the process purposefully, like knowingly. We've heard people say that, haven't we? Yeah. Knowingly, like Adam Schiff.
Yeah. These people, if they're Democrats, Soros and the gang, they're not for Democrats either. Not. They're not for those people. They're looking to dominate
whoever they can to get what they want.
Exactly.
Right? And so let's make sure we know that. We're going to come out. We have more stuff coming down the line with election fraud. We have someone who has actually looked into the Mike Lindell data and vetted the IP addresses themselves, and it will blow your mind how many votes were changed and hacked.
It could be a 2-show.
Oh, easy.
2-show.
Easy, it could.
2-episode show.
Well, and then we also have a phenomenal patriot who also has evidence, black and white evidence, that the machines right, that were brought in were not lawfully certified. So think about that. We've got evidence about the hacking. We've got evidence that the machines were faulty. And we've got evidence that there's a system called E.R.I.C that helps goodie bag all the extra needed votes, pad the machine, right? Oh, well, you had X amount more voters than such and such. Here we go. We covered that, So it's all starting to come together. And what we need to realize is Missouri was fraught with fraud as well. And, we don't like to talk about that because we went red and we got what we wanted or whatever.
Hey, but we want it to be honest.
We want it to be honest. I don't care. I was talking to this person, this patriot, the other day, and it was like, all these people are worried about, well, I go to this person and they say, well, how can I help if the election was fraud and I'm out of office? And it's like, is that what you're concerned with?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to be in office, at least interim. And the thing is if we get the right people in and then they expose all this fraud and they undo everything and then we have special elections, don't you think they'll get elected? Right. So I don't know. It's up to us as a people, because if we don't do it, they're not going to do it. They haven't done it and they're not going to.
Yeah, and we have good people, regular people out there who have actually done the legwork, and we're going to bring them on the show.
Yes.
And we're going to let them present their evidence. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. So stay tuned. Remember, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell.
Dang.
Because truly, the more that we get this out, I've been meeting people and they're like, what are you selling? I was like, the truth. But it's free.
Yeah.
So share it with everybody, get them involved, show the clips. Sam and his team have been doing a phenomenal job clipping this stuff up. I mean, truly. So share the bite-sized stuff. You don't have to share this however long we're going tonight. I appreciate everybody who stays with us.
Yeah.
But you don't have to share it. You can.
It's a beautiful night out.
Clip it.
Locally.
Yeah, it really is beautiful.
Maybe they're listening to us outside on their porch.
Maybe.
That would be great.
That would be really cool.
That'd
Drinking some tea or some lemonade or an Arnold Palmer.
Palmer.
Arnold
Palmer?
That was just a fail. Arnold Palmer. It is half
Palmer.
Lemonade, half tea, if anybody knows that. And if you just drink it right, it's half unsweet tea.
Yeah.
If you drink it with sugar and sweet tea and lemonade, you've got a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to do that? I ordered an Arnold
Sam's keeping me
Palmer
from
one
being
time
a slouch.
because I thought it was a drink. I thought it was a
you can put some whiskey in it or some vodka.
I thought that's what they were going to do.
Don't do it and sit in your truck.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. There was no alcohol in mine.
Okay, so now we're going to move into the last area. We're going to do some calls to action.
Call to action.
Mr. O'Rear has that for us.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say summary, election, E.R.I.C. Look into these things. E.R.I.C. Electronic Registration Information Center. Make sure you look in and dive into what the initiative petition is, what it means, what are the different laws that are coming out or the opportunities for bills that are coming out. We don't know which one specifically yet that's going to be on the ballot, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, please tell me, because I'm going to dig into that as soon as possible. And then remember the redistricting scandal. Remember Palm Strategic. Remember Caleb Rowden. Remember Dave Schatz. Gas tax Schatz. And remember how they had conflicts of interest, people working for Palm Strategic who also had clients that were a part of the redistricting scandal and on the redistricting committees. So remember that stuff. Bratton will be here next week.
Yep.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so this is going to be the local corner. We're talking about the school board. School boards are coming up here. When are they coming up, Sam? That's right, April 5th. So, everybody, very important. Just step one of getting good people, good patriots on your school board. I have a list here of the surrounding area. If you have more, if there's more on your in your district, in your area, send them over to us. We will read them on the air. So we'll start with the Liberty School District, and we'll put all this information on our site.
Correct.
With their links and everything. So Kyle Bryant and Dan Currents. I believe I'm saying that name right. Kyle Bryant and Dan Currents running for Liberty School Board. Get out to vote for them. North Kansas City School District. Dwayne Bartsch. Bartsch. Dwayne. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't say it, but I remember it.
Okay. Nice. And the next one, I'm going to butcher this one too. I'm the on this one. All right. So Josiah, Josiah Betchhold.
What?
Betchhold?
Spell it.
Okay, we're going to spell this one, everybody.
Bechtold?
B as in boy, ECHTHOLD.
Bechtold.
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 All right, we'll go for that. Yeah. North Kansas City School District. Again, write me. Let me know if I'm saying them wrong. Yell at me.
Maybe leave us a voicemail.
Leave us a voicemail. That's
so we
right.
can hear it.
That's right. So we can hear it. That's right.
Or it sounds like.
Yeah. In the Kearney School District, we have Stacy Rule and we have Lynn Broughton. BROUGHTON.
Oh, it's been brought.
It's been, oh boy. Oh boy. And then Park Hill, something that is near and dear to us will be Corey Terrell and Tammy Thompson.
Yay, those
Yeah.
are my favorite peoples.
In Smithville School District, Whitney Carlisle and Chris Palmer.
Yes.
Yeah, they're great. Platte County, we're missing one. There is a Mike Claxton, which
Yep.
we...
So it's Mike and Mike is what
Mike
you need
and
to
Mike. Who's
remember.
what's the
I
other
forget
Mike?
the guy's last name. Claxton, I love that guy very
Mike
much. He's a
and
great
Mike,
dude.
Eminem.
But it's
I hope
Eminem.
They did
Mike
that.
and Mike.
That is a gold marketing campaign that they did.
Agreed.
Eminem, Mike and Mike. It's great.
Agreed.
And then in Independence, we have Josh Hill.
Josh Hill.
Meeting
Yep.
him.
We're going out to do his video.
We're doing a video
tomorrow.
for him. We're doing a video for him tomorrow.
That's
aren't
right.
we? Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
make sure you're ready, buddy.
Yeah, we do videos.
We do
don't
videos, guys. We do commercials.
And that is going to be April 5th. I'm going to pound it until April 5th. It is so important that we get out to vote. Sam,
Absolutely.
I hope you are registered, you and your little pals.
Your little pals.
Yeah. And also, too, let's continue to bring up that Take a Stand Now, Missouri.
Absolutely.
Very, very important group. Melinda Clark Sand, remember?
Yep.
It was hyphenated.
Patriot attorney.
Patriot attorney representing Ray's Cafe.
Ray's Cafe, and also helping all those families who loved ones have been held hostage by the tyrannical boards.
Still
or the
stuck
hospitals.
in hospitals.
Yeah, dude, it's
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And remember, go to the website. She needs resources. Right? A lot of this stuff she's doing pro bono, but she needs the resources. She needs lawyers. If you're an attorney, you know an attorney, please step up and help her do this good God's work, really. And let's make sure that we let her know how much she's appreciated. And again, if you can support her financially, if you can give her resources, you can give her connections, if you can send her cookies, whatever the case may be. Literally, support means everything, and it comes in all shapes and sizes. Let's be a community.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Melinda, thank you for all the work
Yes,
that you're
ma'am.
doing.
Thank you very much.
And then last but not least, this is something that is near and dear to both Josh and I, the Memorial Fund, Justice for Riley.
Youngblood.
Yeah, I think you guys remember this last week. Young man working, going off to work. He was killed. He was murdered in a road rage incident.
You say allegedly on that.
Allegedly. He was... He was gunned down senselessly.
Yeah, well, it's on camera. The guy shot 5 shots, and Riley's no longer here. So whatever.
Yeah. So
I mean, I understand the legal. You're
allegedly.
right, but still.
But keep him and his family in your prayers, and
we put the Memorial Fund on our website. It's in the Patriot Action. Patriot Call to Action section. You can click there, go to their GoFundMe page, and give to that family. I believe it's all going to his daughter.
Yeah. So, we'll have all that information on our website. So, support it the best you can and get out that vote April 5th for school board.
Absolutely.
Back to you, Josh.
All right. So, last thing, thank our sponsors again.
Yeah.
Let's Go Brandon Christmas lights. Get in front of it, guys. You're going to be mad. You're going to be like, I should have done this.
Yeah.
I have to now put these up. Men, if you don't want your wife to tell you, because I'm going to probably hire him, you hold my spot.
Humble yourself.
Hold my
Men,
spot.
humble yourself.
Yes, humble. Yes, men, humble yourself and let someone else do your lights. I'm going to let somebody else do my lights if that's a thing, and now it is. And especially because it's Let's Go Brandon.
Yeah, that's true.
If you I hope you have like Let's Go Brandon stickers or something like that.
Well, see, this Christmas it was so nice.
Oh yeah, you can find them on Facebook.
It was
100%.
warm. I went out there and did it myself. It was great. Now, if it's cold,
it was the worst year ever for putting up Christmas lights. My wife berated me over it.
Why is that?
Because I didn't do it.
Oh,
I mean, I finally did it. She did it. Really, she's such a go-getter. She does it herself.
So she tees your kids, she cleans your house, and she put up the Christmas lights. I'm not.
And
sure
then I
what
just
Josh
get to come
does.
here and talk for a little bit.
Josh talks for 2 hours while his wife's putting up Christmas lights.
Just get to
Are you hiring?
Yeah, right. And then also D2Me Health and Fitness. You can do fitness from afar. She has on-demand workouts available, and she also does a boot camp at her gym in Weston.
In 1 week, Sam's gains went from 14 to 50.
To 14. No, 7 to 50. 7.5 to 50.
I thought we were rounding up. Yeah, but he went up to 50. Incredible results.
You round up from 7.5 to 14?
Sure.
Okay. And then Cohen's Art and Framing in Platte City. She does amazing work, custom frames, especially if you are out running for an elected position. Go ahead and get your signs made, your cards made, your frames of your winning photo.
Your winning photo.
Whatever.
Yep.
She does all kinds of great work. So she makes T-shirts, all kinds of different things. And then lastly, I want to kind of just cover a quick word from the Lord. So,
we got one more.
What was it? Who was it?
Jason.
Oh, and Jason Emerson, but we haven't technically. I mean,
it's coming.
Right.
Yep.
He's a realtor. He's amazing. I can give you his phone number. I just don't have any of his information on the site yet. So that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
But we're going to have an amazing commercial. I am super excited about it. It's going to be a blockbuster because he's a friend on top of being an amazing patriot and a great business owner. Okay, so last thing is just this word. So we faced a lot of things as a nation, especially the past 2 years. And I was reading Psalm 77, and it was an absolutely amazing, astonishing moment for me because what it said was it was basically talking about how it was referencing the Exodus, right? So the people leaving Egypt and getting out of the control of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh has the greatest army at the time in known history, and these guys were just ex-slaves turned into free men and women, and they were facing this. So God moved them into basically like what you would consider a trap almost, right? On both sides there was high mountains, right? And then in the back of them was the Red Sea. Some say the Sea of Reeds, but point being is it was a very vast body of water. And then in front of them was Pharaoh's army. And what the psalmist says is God's way is in the sea, in the deep. And what that means, he said, not was, is. So in other words, when you're thinking about life and the things we're facing as a nation, as a people, in your own personal life, whatever the case may be, it may make sense sometimes to do anything else but what God actually has planned, right? So the Israelites, they were about 3 million of them, I think. And Pharaoh's army wasn't that big. They were very strong. They were chariots. They were very well armed and so on. But they could have fought, right? And they could have fought. There would have been a lot of loss of life. They may have won, right? Very possible they would have outnumbered them enough to win. But there would have been a massive loss of life, okay? They could have also ran off and ran up into the mountains, right? And scurried away. But they'd have left all their oxen. They'd have left all of their cattle, all of their livestock. They would have left all of their wagons towing their stuff. So in other words, they would have lost everything just to save their lives. But God stood in the gap for them through that pillar of fire, and they waited. Now, granted, they didn't wait patiently the whole time. They murmured and complained. They freaked out a bit, but they waited. And then God's way came through the sea, the deep. And so he split the sea. The wind came through the night. It wasn't just this quick, like we see in the movies, because we don't have a lot of time to wait. But in reality, an east wind or wind came and started carving through the water. And it lasted all night long, right? And so eventually it was completely parted, and they went through on dry ground. That's a really important statement. Not only did he part the ocean, but there was dry ground they went through. And why is that important? Imagine taking, a wagon or your kids or anything through mud. You'd be bogged down. It'd be horrible, whatever. So in other words, he parted the sea. He did it within the right timing, and he gave a perfect, clean, solid path for them to go through. And they went through, and then he goaded the enemy into that path, and then he completely destroyed their enemy and completely saved them.
Yeah, I saw this in a movie once.
Yes,
Charlton Heston did something
one of the
similar
greatest
to
movies
this.
ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
I thought. I knew that sounded familiar.
Absolutely. But the idea is the psalmist says his way is in the deep, not was. In other words, that's God's character. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. So he will always provide a way. Our job is to wait on him. Our job is to be faithful. Our job is to trust him. If we trust him, he can move through us. If we don't trust him, then the word of God says, fear of man causes a snare or a trap. So when I get afraid and I act in fear, I end up trapping myself. But if I stay free and I stay trusting, then I will stay safe and I will be under the wings of the Almighty, and He will bless me. And that is a promise. That is a promise that is enduring forever. So whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you're facing, whatever's in your mind, understand that if the Lord hasn't opened a path for you, then wait on Him. And He will make a way through the deep, and it will be a glorious thing, because if you go back in Exodus and read, after that happens, there's a whole chapter devoted to the song of deliverance that Moses and the people sing. And that can be your song too. So remember that. That'll be it for episode Trace. All right.
Thank you, Sam, for having us.
Sam, you'll
have to come back next week.
The greatest producer I've ever had. I'm hoping that next week I'll come in and Sam will be smiling.
Yeah.
Because every week it's been like Sam is like,
yeah. There was
and I'm like, what? And he goes, I don't know. Something's wrong.
Yeah, there was smoke coming out of the dumpster.
But you know what? Every single time a man comes through, pulls through like a champ. So I appreciate you, Sam. You are a wonderful blessing.
In fact, if I come in next week and everything's okay, I'm real nervous.
Agreed. We might need to, like, maybe something happen.
I'll break
a light will fall on us in the middle of it. Hopefully everything's like it's on fire, because it'd be an amazing episode. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys very much. We love you. God bless you. Keep praying for us. Tune in, share, like, subscribe, hit that bell.
Excellent.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone.